Big Saturday in Albany, Georgia. For the second time in the last 3 years, the SIAC Championship game comes down to Benedict College and Albany State. A rematch from the 2023 title game as both teams make their way into Albany State Coliseum. The Blue Fields, one prize, one goal on the line today. As we bring you up inside of the booth, Championship Saturday is here in the SIAC. Jason Rush Jr. alongside Forrest Connolly, fired up for this matchup. Rematch the 2023 championship game, and Forrest, a rematch from just a few weeks ago. Really revenge all around in the narrative today.
Absolute revenge. For Albany State, it's an opportunity to revenge that championship loss to the same Benedict team. And for Benedict, they got embarrassed 3 weeks ago at home by this Albany State team. So they feel like this is an opportunity to right the one wrong on their schedule this season.
Let's start on the Benedict side of things, looking at their season, how they got here to this point. The lone loss, as Forrest noted there just a few weeks ago, to this Albany State group. That was at home. Now you go on the road trying to knock them off. Bread and butter over the last couple of weeks has been the run game led by Tristan Morgan. What makes him elite?
Well, he was big time in that overtime win last week. When he gets his shoulder square, he's a tone setter with his downhill style. For Albany State, they have to get on top of him early and not allow him to get going.
You love these interior tackles, Casey Bolden, Desmond Thompson. What do you like about them most?
Well, they're space occupiers. Both of these guys had 2 tackles for loss and a sack in the last meeting. If they can occupy space, they'll allow those Benedict linebackers to flow downhill freely.
Now flipping it over to Albany State. Again, they were dominant in that matchup against Benedict. You see their lone loss came way back on September 13th against Florida A&M. Really a historic role since then. And when you look at this group, such a well-balanced team. Isaiah Knowles is the leader. He's so mature. Had a fun time chatting with him yesterday.
Well, he can fit the ball in tight windows, and he spreads the ball around. Last time these two teams played, he had 5 different receivers with 20-plus yard chunk plays. So he'll spread the ball around. For Benedict, they have to keep him contained, not allow him to get open with those receivers.
Then in the linebacker position, Aiden Henningham, he's so elite, can do so many different things. You see the 4.5 sacks this year.
Well, he's a very instinctive player with an ability to rush off the edge as well as drop back into zone. They will do a lot of defensive mixtures to try and confuse Ocean on that Benedict offense.
Almost ready to rock and roll. Benedict won the toss, opted to defer. Albany State will receive. Cameron Watts back to return. Logan Karowaki to kick us off. A rematch of the 2023 championship. Rematch of a game from just under a month ago that Albany State won handily. But both teams saying, this is all we're focused on right now. One goal, one prize, SIAC championship game, 2 historic programs with 1 goal today. Logan Karowaki will get the day started up. Watts to return from inside of his own 10. And he will bring it out to the 15. So on the home fields, one of the few rare colored turfs and a fun setting today here at Albany State Coliseum. Isaiah Knowles is going to bring his team out for the first time. His 3rd season at Albany State, did play in the 2023 title game in a limited capacity. He told us, again, we're not watching the film from that, but not shying away from the fact that it's still in our hearts. It was painful in 2023. They want to reverse that today. You see the numbers there. Been prolific on the season. Got a great back next to him in Tiana Weich. Coming off the 48-3 win over Fort Valley State. They'll fake the run game on the opening play, and a drop to begin. Jamarion Davis, who had a big 45-yard grab in the first quarter last week, couldn't hold on there.
And Davis, you've got to help your quarterback out. You've got to squeeze that football. You saw Davis looking upfield, looking where he wanted to go after he had the reception, but you've got to squeeze that football, get the reception, and then look to make a play for your offense.
Brings up 2nd and 10. A lot to run it here. Been good balance really all season long with Weich, who is coming off 28 yards, 10 carries a week ago and a touchdown. We'll see a couple other backs as well. Gain of 3 there. Ryan Perry with the tackle. What are you going to see early as the first third down comes up for this Albany State offense? What are you going to see early out of them?
Well, I think what you're going to see is three-level concepts when the routes. You've got three wide receivers at the bottom of your screen. They're going to try to confuse those safeties from Benedict. So you're going to see those guys kind of run the same routes, but at different levels to see if they can get the safeties to react.
Knowles steps up, strong throw over the middle and caught. Able to find Jameel Williams, had 3 catches a week ago. Last year was his breakout season, and he's backed it up this year, gain of 16. And moving quickly.
You saw it right there, Jason. You saw an under route, you saw an over route, and you saw a route in between those routes. So what you're doing, you're cleaning out those safeties, and you're making those back-end defenders think.
Another catch over the middle. It's Weiss this time, the running back out of the backfield, has improved his hands. Exciting every time he touches it. Isaiah Stevens with the tackle.
And this is what Albany State wants to do. Once they get positive yards, they get that tempo going. They don't want to allow Benedict to get new players in the ball game.
Spin it up in a hurry. 3 straight plays for the catch. And it's getting Knowles in the groove as well. Up speed, get the crowd involved early with this offensive style.
One of the things I look for Benedict to do is get pressure at the line of scrimmage. So if you're on those outside receivers, those defensive backs need to not allow them to get free releases. They've got to get up in their faces.
Corey Petty with the last drive, go to the ground. This time, big hole opens up over the middle and inside of the 10. Weiss on the carry, gain of 42.
And you see those all-conference linemen from Albany State knocking guys back at the point of attack because they've been so successful with that quick pass game. They've got Benedict on their heels right now.
Prompts a Benedict timeout. Been like a track meet getting to the line of scrimmage.
First time out of the half. This is a 30-second
42 big yards. Albany State will set up in the red zone when we come back. Be remembered in November, the mantra for both of these teams today. Albany State already off to a memorable start. That last run, 42 yards. We'll have them set up shop in the red zone as the tempo really getting turned up early on here. First and goal. He'll hand it off. Weish looking to stretch it. Broke a tackle. Wants the pylon. Going to reach for it. Looks like he's going to be marked about a yard shy of the end zone. Shea Scott with a touchdown saving tackle.
And that play was made by Weish. His ability to bounce it to the outside. You've got a defender right when he gets the football, but he does a good job of not panicking, but getting it to the outside and getting positive yards.
Go to the ground again, this time trying to squeak through a crevice of traffic. And looks like it'll be marked about an inch shy.
And I expect them to line right back up and run behind that left side. They're two first-team all-conference players.
It is very fast. Everyone trying to catch up. Whistles before the play got snapped. If you're Benedict here on your heels, you see all the hands on hips.
And that's a bit surprising, Jason. We just come out of a timeout. It's the first quarter. I understand it's been tempo, but it's surprising to see those guys with their hands on their hips so early.
So 3rd and goal from about the 1.5 yard line coming up. Weish the back again. Have 2 tight ends in there to block. Can Benedict come up with a big goal line stand? Backed up.
Before the play clock expired, timeout. Albany State. This is their first timeout of the half. This is a 30-second timeout.
So the Golden Rams get the timeout called before play clock wound down. If you're Benedict, again, gives you a shot to breathe here. Forces it just kind of will on will right now to keep him out of the end zone?
Well, I think right now you've got a lot of emotion in this football game, and maybe that's why you see the Benedict players with their hands on their hips. You've got adrenaline going. But right now for Albany State offensively, they've been able to do exactly what they've wanted to do. Not any negative plays. They're moving the ball up the field. They're passing the ball around, getting the ball to playmakers in the open space. And just when you think you've got those receivers covered, they hit you with the big run down the gut of that defense. So they've got this Benedict defense on their heels. They're thinking now as opposed to just playing.
Wonder how much that last meeting just under a month ago creeps into the minds of the Benedict players. Weish the back again. Davis in there to block. Direct snap to Weish. Trying to power his way home. Still awaiting the signal. There it is. Opening drive statement for Albany State at home.
You see the direct snap to Weish, and a good job by the offensive lineman. You got lineman pulling around. A good job by the tight end, number 80, Jamarion Davis, with the seal block, giving Weish the space that he needed to get the ball north and south and get behind those linemen's hips and get the ball over the goal line.
Kyle Wright on to tack on the extra point. Fast start, quite literally, for Albany State. Well, they have been superb in the red zone this year. That was touchdown number 36 in the red zone this season. 48 points a week ago. Fast start this week again.
And if you're Benedict, you've got to look at that first drive and you've got to say, okay, what plays did we have the opportunity to make that we did not make? You can't look at the overall success that Albany State had on that drive. You've got to look at where you can make a play, because they're going to come back out, Albany State offensively, and do the exact same thing. And they're going to challenge Benedict to say, until you stop us, we're going to do it and do it and do it. Now, offensively, they've got to come out here, and I think they've got to put a drive together. I think one of the things coming into this game psychologically for them is we've got to be able to put a touchdown on the board. Only 3 points the last time these two teams played. They've been very effective since that football game, scoring points, but they've got to get a score early, I think, confidence-wise for their offense.
Hey, you told me that throughout the week. It would be imperative for Benedict to get off to a fast start on the road today. Down 7. Deshaun Mingo and Jackson Williams back to return this kickoff from Kyle Wright. Jackson Williams, dangerous returner, 2 touchdown returns this season. Offense patiently awaiting, trying to answer for Benedict. That lone loss this season came against Albany State. We'll start up at about the 21-yard line. That's where Darius Ocean will begin the day for Benedict as their offense comes out off a 16-13 low-scoring battle against Savannah State a week ago. They went to overtime. Third time they've won a one-score game this year. They've had to win in different ways. 9-1 on the season. What do you like about Darius Ocean?
I like his ability to move outside of the pocket and extend plays. But I think for them to be successful, Tristan Morgan has to have a big game. You've got to feed your back. You've got to get that run game going. You've got to get that offensive line involved. I think that will open up the pass game for Ocean.
440 combined rushing yards over the last 2 weeks for Benedict. To that point, can they get it going against the best rushing defense in the SIAC? Ocean to throw on the first play as a completion. Able to connect with Noah Johnson. And that is the start you want offensively for your Benedict's gain of 27.
And that is a great confidence builder for Ocean coming into this game. 3 picks last week. A good job by the offensive line, giving him the time that he needs to get the ball down the field. He saw the matchup that was favorable and got the ball to his receiver.
See if they can maybe counter with some up-tempo action here. We'll slow it down, get the signal from the sideline. They felt like they had opportunities early on. They did. In the first meeting, there was a fumble and an interception that hurt them and led to such a good start for Albany State in that game. From Trey Simmons in motion as a decoy to the first run of the game. And again, the best rushing defense, one of the best in the country, ready there.
And you see what they did with Simmons. They brought that orbit motion. They're trying to get the linebackers' attention. That's what you want to do with that motion in the backfield. Get the attention of the linebackers.
Seeded out those numbers on October 25th. To that point, 6 carries, just 14 yards for Morgan in that game. I think he's bound to have a much better day today, coming off 94 yards and a touchdown a week ago against Savannah State to punch their ticket to this game. They'll hand it off. Defense ready once again. Interior tackles along with Isaiah Morrison, who's been so good all season long, the Florida native.
And Benedict is getting absolutely no movement at the point of attacking. You see what Albany State is doing. They're bringing stunts. They're twisting their interior players, so they're confusing the blocking assignments of the Benedict offensive linemen. They've got to do a better job of identifying, and I think they may need to go to a zone blocking scheme as opposed to a man scheme, because right now that twist that they're doing defensively is giving those offensive linemen issues.
Pretty young offensive line for Benedict as well. Now in 3rd and 10. Not ideal. Ocean going to flood the pressure. Ocean trying to keep it himself and get the first down. Looks like he has it. So all else fails. Darius Ocean, improvisation. And they call him just a winner at all levels. This was a winning play right here.
And you see right there, they brought the twist again. They brought a stunt. They brought the end around the edge, but Ocean was able to get outside of that end. The end has to make sure when he's coming around that he keeps contained. Sometimes these guys' eyes get big and they want to make the big play, but you've got to remember to be gap sound. So he needed to make sure he kept contained and not allow Ocean to get to the outside.
To that point, both coaching staff told us in a championship game, a lot of emotion, as you mentioned, Forrest. Who can hold in on those details
is now
the best?
Number 87.
We'll hand it off again here. Tristan Morgan. Lunging ball did come out. Was it a live ball? If it is, it's Albany State football.
The ruling on the field is a fumble recovered by the defense. First down, Albany State.
And this is kind of reminiscent of the last time these two teams played. You see a fumble right there. A great job by the defender getting the helmet directly on the football. That is what you ask for your defenders to do. Tyrell Gainey, number 39, doing a good job of identifying where the football was, getting that helmet across on that football. For Morgan, you've got to hold that ball high and tight. But, Jason, this is reminiscent of the last time these two teams played. Benedict driving the football, and they have a costly fumble.
Tyrell Gainey had an interception last week. This week forces a fumble on a promising drive for Benedict that gives you a little deja vu, as you noted, Forrest. They had opportunities, as we just talked about, in the regular season matchup against Albany State early, but fumbled and had a pick thrown. So mirror image of that first matchup so far. Go to the ground with Weish. Kind of like they slow you down a little early for us, almost like a crossover, lull you to sleep, then blow by you.
And one of the things I like about Weish is he's a patient runner. He allows for his blocking schemes to develop. A lot of times you've got running backs, they just want to hit the hole and go hard in the paint. But I think what he does a good job of is allowing the blocking scheme to develop. And when he sees the crease, then he gets up the field north and south.
He was the freshman of the year in the SIAC last season. Sophomore year, Jacksonville, Florida native. Oh, that ball was dropped on the snap. Danger that time. But Weish able to pounce on it. They'll lose some yardage there. Set up third in what should be 11.
You see right there, Knowles got his eyes off of the football. Now, this is an interesting down right here. Because you've got an opportunity now to see Izzy Nwochukwu off the edge, and he's a very dangerous pass rusher, number one at the top of the screen.
There he is from behind, and down goes Knowles. So you called it for us. They bring the heat, dial it up on 3rd and 11, and able to atone for the interception from their offense.
And they did the same thing that Albany State did on defense. They brought a twist, a stunt, and Ty Patterson did a good job of getting up the field. And what you see in Ty Patterson is you've got a guy with linebacker speed on the edge coming up the field, and that's what makes him more difficult to block as opposed to a defensive lineman.
Ian Kelly back for his first punt. Mingo to return. The offense for Benedict's going to thank the defense here after the fumble. Oh, that punt was blocked! Trying to punch on it to the end zone is Isaiah Brown. He does! Punt block, touchdown, defense answers on special teams, and now we could be tied. They come after it after dialing up the pressure on 3rd and 11.
And what a turn of events. Isaiah Brown, number 31, got in there. A good job of blocking it as well as recovering the football. And that's just what the doctor ordered for this Benedict football team. It wasn't looking good after the turnover. A good job defensively stopping Albany State, forcing the punt attempt, and then a better job blocking the punt and covering it for the touchdown.
And what a turn of events to turn the tide on special teams. A flag prior to the extra point attempts.
Before the snap, offside, defense, number 99. That penalty is declined. We'll still have the try.
They get Taekwon Glenn there. Gotta feel the emotion shift early on the Benedict sideline. They needed that after how this game went through the first few minutes. Take 2 for Karwaki. Tie game in the SIAC Championship. Ron Dickerson watches his team give it away, then get it back with the blocked punt and a special team score for Brown. Isaiah Brown, the hero early for Benedict, his first career touchdown coming off the block punt, and recovered himself, and this game is tied up. Wouldn't have it any other way. A wacky, fun start to the SIAC Championship game. These teams meeting in it for the second time in the last 3 years. Benedict's won 2 out of the last 3 SIAC championships, including 2023 against Albany State. So Albany State in search of revenge today, the host team in this year's conference championship on their home field. So now, Forrest, if we go back and look at that punt, a little flat coming off the foot of Ian Kelly.
You see right here, he's got to do a better job of getting elevation on that punt. And he needs to be, a little bit more reactive. I thought he'd just take his time. He thought he was not going to have a pass rush. He's going to have all the time in the world. You've got to be more assertive than trying to get the ball out of there. It looked like he was going more for the length of the punt as opposed to getting the punt out of there. You've got pressure coming. You've got to get that punt out of there.
Well, every phase of the game tends to play a role in the postseason. Those little things, so you could essentially say turnover battle even now as Knowles comes back out. His second series, they scored in their opening drive. Looking for the edge here with Weish. Often we'll start with him offensively, then shift into the passing game. Very up-tempo if you tuned in late.
You see right there, Ryan Perry, number 56, has an opportunity to make a play, but Weish and his ability to slip Perry and get to the outside. A good job by George Jala to make that tackle, but a better job, I like, by Weish breaking, getting out to the edge, getting to the edge of that defense, and getting positive yards, not allowing the defensive end to bring him down.
Sets up 2nd and 5. They'll flip it to Roderick McRae this time. First time we've seen him. Got hit by Jahavian Phillips. 7 straight wins for Albany State since the September 13th loss at Florida A&M. 8-point loss. 3rd and 2 here. Both of these defenses, the top 2 in the conference on third down defense, and you see it there with Benedict, and you can feel the momentum flowing through now. Amari Terry with the tackle. He's got 51 of them on the season. And that was a big one. They're going to force another punt.
And what makes Terry such a dominant force at that star linebacker position is his ability to diagnose run fits. You see Terry right there, get inside. Helmet on the helmet, a great job by diagnosing, finding where the football is, and putting the hat on the hat. That's exactly how it's drawn up. You want to get your guy in the hole one-on-one with the ball carrier.
They brought Isaiah Brown towards the punter again. Didn't get there this time. Deshaun Mingo with the fair catch. And then got hit after. No flag comes. There was a theatrical fall back from Mingo.
Yeah, but I still think you got to throw the flag. You've got to throw the flag. Yeah, you've got to definitely throw the flag.
I made sure that they knew, but there was no flag.
Come out.
That's definitely a flag.
Ray Charles Plaza here in Albany, Georgia. 7-7 tie game in the SIAC Championship. Just under 5 to go in the opening quarter. This the last fair catch where you're counting the steps here for it. You want me to count the steps before the hit? I counted 4, maybe 5.
I give it 5.
I get 2 seconds at least between the time he caught it and the contact. But no flag nonetheless.
Well, you know, they say let him play, but I mean, come on.
It's Championship Saturday. You got to let him play. So now Darius Ocean and the Benedict offense come back out. Fumble last time they had it. Up the middle this time with David Smith. First time we've seen the redshirt sophomore from Houston. They call him kind of the lightning in a bottle back. Robert Floyd making the tackle there. He's been one of the top guys in the secondary for this Albany State defense. A special teams touchdown tied it. Benedict with the blocked punt. Then Isaiah Brown pounced on it in the end zone after blocking the punt. Go back to Smith trying to elude that initial breach of the O-line from this Albany State rushing defense. Has been the best in the conference all season. Hard to find the edge against him. Third and manageable coming up.
And a good job by Clint Scales getting immediate pressure up the field, not allowing the blocking scheme to develop. You see right there, up the field, right there, on top of the back, making him bounce it out to the outside. And a good job by David Smith. We talked about his speed, his burst. If that's not David Smith, that may be a tackle for a loss.
On third down, they'll keep it on the ground, and Smith had a good quick first step. Broke a tackle as well. Picked up 7, needed 5, enough for a first down.
And once again, that athletic ability by Smith to use that speed and that burst. Watch, you got initial pressure right here where Smith wants to go. And they got away with the hold on that play Benedict did on the outside, number 76, Tariq Monroe. But a good job by Smith, once again, bouncing it to the outside, finding space and getting up the field to get the necessary yards needed.
Another handoff. Smith with another hole to run through. Rare to find those against the Golden Rams defense. You can tell they're frustrated after a couple of good runs from Smith, who's the guy that's cooking right now. He'll come out, though. Morgan likely to come in.
And a good job by that left side of that offensive line. Isaiah Richardson, Isaiah Turner, the 2 second-team all-conference players, getting a hat on the hat, giving Smith the space that he needs to get up the field.
Smith gets a rest. Now Tristan Morgan comes in. If that duo's cooking like this throughout the day, it's what Benedict wants, as Forrest talked about in the open. Blocking this time is Morgan for his QB, Ocean, who steps up and gets inside of the 35.
And you see that escapability by Ocean. He doesn't see anything. He's got immediate pressure, and he climbs the pocket. He sees he has a lane, and he gets up the field to get positive yards. He's very elusive. You've got a defender right there, Andrew Ruffin, 53, with an opportunity to make a play. But Ocean, with his ability to escape pressure and get up the field.
Last year, their now redshirt freshman QB Jackson Jensen got injured. So they went out, recruited Ocean, landed him. He's taken over this starting role this year. Felt like he was a guy that could guide them to November in a conference championship game. He's on that stage now, and he's dancing again with his legs. Gets out of bounds here.
And a good job by Cerise Peterson, number 92, getting up the field, getting past the offensive lineman, pressing Ocean, not allowing him to plant and get north and south. Ocean wanted to get north and south, but 92, Cerise Peterson did a good job of getting penetration and not allowing him to set that foot and get north and south.
See Peterson there, just the redshirt freshman from Georgia. Brings up 3rd and 5. Definitely a down to keep an eye on today, because these are the 2 best third down defenses in the conference. Benedict has already converted once on 3rd down of this series. Second time they've been inside the 35 of Albany State. Last time they fumbled. High snap there. Ocean under pressure, and he gets dropped back. Lost his helmet after a heavy hit from Joshua Jones. Loss of 9.
And if you saw what Albany State did in that play, no stunts, no twists. We're just going to bring the house. Everybody come downhill, and we're going to bring and see if you can block us one-on-one. They brought more than they could block. They started out with a high snap for Ocean, so that started to play off negatively. And then he's got immediate pressure coming from the outside. There's nowhere for him to step up in the pocket because he had pressure in his face. A great job by the Albany State defense.
And really pushed him out of field goal range in the process. So punting unit comes on. Colton Ford, sophomore from Arizona. Cameron Watts back to return.
That's the end of the first quarter.
That'll happen when we come back. 7-7 start. Second time in the last 3 years these teams have met in an SIAC championship game. That trophy on the line today. Fittingly a tie game after one between the conference's two best. Back at Albany State Coliseum, built in 2004, the host site for this year's SIAC Championship game, in a packed house on a beautiful afternoon in Georgia. Start of the second quarter, Jason Ross Jr., Forrest Connolly with your outstanding ESPN crew. Colton Ford to punt as we flip sides of the field. Cameron Watts will let that sail and roll into the end zone. Do you think Forrest missed opportunity on that last drive? That second time they've gotten inside the 35 of Albany State, Benedict's offense.
Absolutely, but Albany State's defense has done a good job of making a big play when it was needed. I like what they brought pressure on that play. They brought more than Benedict could block. And when you have that type of pressure for a quarterback, he needs to be able to get the ball really quickly and diagnose where the pressure is coming from, because that's where his open receiver will be. But because of that high snap, he had to first initially make sure he got possession of that football, which I think allowed the defense to get to him.
Did it feel like they set the tone by going to the air first play, Benedict?
Absolutely.
Balance-wise?
Well, it showed that they are not afraid to throw the ball. We know coming into this game, they had ran the ball extremely well. in the last 2 ball games since that game against Albany State. So I think they thought the thinking was, and everyone's thinking was, they're going to come in and try and continue what they've been doing running, and they came out throwing. So I thought that was big of them.
Another series for Albany State. Punt last time out. Dump it off here to Jamarion Davis, who stepped up into the starting tight end role when Xavier Herndon went down. That was 6 weeks ago. Davis has been really good in the role ever since. Gain of 5 there.
And you see what Knowles is doing. He's looking over his receivers. He's going through his progressions. He doesn't see what he wants down the field with the vertical pass game. He goes underneath to his big tight end, Davis.
Isaiah Knowles, their QB, 3rd year in the program. Played in the 2023 championship game against Benedict in search of revenge today. His family sitting below us, his own cheering section right below our broadcast booth. They'll hand it off here. And it's Weish who gets stood up on the edge. Dante Brackett Drake, the corner, along with Amari Terry, coming up to make the play.
And you see what's happening right now. The defensive linemen are doing a good job of occupying space. A good job by Casey Bolton, half pint as they call him, and Desmond Thompson, those 2 interior linemen. What they're doing, they're getting pushed right in the center of that defense, and they're not allowing those guards to climb up to the second level and cover up those linebackers, allowing Patterson, Terry, Stevens, all those guys to flow downhill from the linebacker position from Benedict.
Benedict defensive coordinator Shea Campbell is fired up for this matchup. Throw to the sideline. That is a lunging grab caught on the near side by Corey Petty. They really love him in those mid to short range scenarios. Gets enough there to move the chains. Picks up 6 on 3rd and 5.
And that was an excellent throw by Isaiah Knowles. It was a throw where only Corey Petty could make a play on the football. And a good job by Petty helping this quarterback out, extending his body, giving his body up to make that catch for the first down.
Petty, the transfer from Tuskegee, likes to be called Deuce. Big in their 10 personnel look. They'll fake it, go over the middle again this time. It is caught again, and it's Petty again. He's breaking free to the second level. Inside of the 20. Petty down to the 10. Amari Terry with the touchdown saving tackle. It is a gain of 60.
And what happens is when you run the ball on first down, defenses tend to think that's what you're going to do. And you see Petty right there in the middle. He finds a hole in that defense. He breaks a tackle and he gets to the outside. And you see the speed once he gets to reception. One of the things that was big in the last game were chunk plays. 5 over 20 yards. That's the first one this afternoon.
1st and goal, up the middle and down to the 5 goes Weish, who's been so good in the red zone this year. They've got 36 total red zone touchdowns as an offense, really elite in this part of the field. Trying to break the tie early on in the second quarter. Albany State scored first on their opening drive. Benedict answered with the blocked punt and pouncing on the blocked punt in the Albany State end zone. See the red zone numbers for both of these teams. Most of the time when you look up the stats for these two squads, they're either first and second, flip-flop them in practically every category in the SIAC. So you truly have the 2 best going head-to-head today in the conference championship game. Knowles under pressure, eluding pressure. Gonna pump, gonna hit the end zone.
Isaiah Knowles on the quarterback keeper for the Golden Rams for an ASU touchdown. Next score, Albany State 13, Benedict College 7, ending the PAT.
And it was a good job by Knowles. Initial pressure from Casey Bolton. But what I like what they did, they condensed the formation. They tightened everything down, which created outside areas for Knowles to first go for the potential pass. He initially wanted to pass the ball to Weish, but they had that covered up. You see his ability to reverse field, get back to the other side of the formation. And because of that tight formation, he had space to get to the outside to score the touchdown.
Kyle Wright on to attempt the extra point. Albany State, similar image to how they began the opening quarter of this game. Going down the field in a hurry. It was 6 plays, 80 yards, 3 minutes and 22 seconds. A 60-yard catch and run from Corey Petty set him up in the red zone. And then Isaiah Knowles, an elusive run to cap off the drive and put the Golden Rams in front, 14-7. See Isaiah Knowles' numbers on the day: 6 for 7, 99 yards. Has ran for at least 25 yards in every game. Caps that last drive off with a rushing touchdown.
And he got the big play to Corey Petty on that last drive. And I think what he's doing again is spreading the ball around. There's not one receiver you can key on if you're Benedict. And that ability on that last play, you saw the escape ability, his ability to read and take what the defense is giving him. He wanted to go to his receiver out of the backfield, but he played it smart. He kept the ball. He faked as he was going to throw the ball. He knew he could get back on the other side of that offense to that offensive line because of the condensed formation that they had with everybody inside and get to the edge to get that touchdown.
He told us yesterday that I trust the O-line with my entire life. I have all season long. They are leading the way so far for him to have a very poised day.
You know, it's interesting. We talked about it. When you look at what Albany State brings to the table, they've got 3 first-team all-conference players: the left tackle, the left guard, and the right tackle. But on the other side of the football, the other side of the field, you've got a Benedict team with 3 second-team all-conference players on the offensive line at the left tackle, left guard, and center. So if I'm an offensive lineman and I'm second team, I'm feeling angry because the guy across the field has got my first-team vote. So I'm coming and trying to knock somebody off the ball. So I look for both of these offensive lines to continue to have great afternoons.
So many little revenge plots in the narrative of this matchup. Squeaking through a hole there. Good job from the offensive line, leading the way for Tristan Morgan. Those young guys, Isaiah Richardson on the left tackle side, Moses Eccles at left guard, both freshmen leading the way here.
When you look at those 2 big guys, one thing that they do a good job of, Isaiah Richardson does a good job of getting to the inside shoulder of those defensive ends and turning them out, giving that lane. And Isaiah Turner, he's crashing down on that 3 technique.
I've also seen David Smith break some good runs in this game for Benedict. Running game that's been at their best over the last couple of weeks. 440 combined rushing yards. The last 2 games against Savannah State and Virginia Lynchburg, both victories.
Well, if you look at the left side of that offensive line, they average 6'3", 325 pounds. So I love what you see over there. Those are some big fellas. Those are people movers.
Look at the play selection so far. You know what they're bringing to you. Kind of like expect the best on best today, because flip it over, Albany State's been the best rushing defense in the conference all season, particularly the last couple of weeks, only allowing 54 combined rushing yards the last 2 weeks. They will try to throw it this time. One-on-one, looking down the sideline, and it is broken up. Had intentions there for Noah Johnson. There on the coverage was Evan Witt.
And a good job by Tristan Morgan picking up the blitz, and a better job by the defender. And he could have, it was very, very close right there to be an interference. The defender needs to do a better job of turning around and locating the football a little bit early. Evan Wynn may have gotten away with one on that play because he got to the receiver prior to the football getting there. I think he needs to do a better job of turning around and locate the football. But I also like what I saw from Tristan Morgan, number 0, picking up the blitz.
It's a big 2nd and 10 play. That only other pass they had completed. That was the first play of the game. Ocean will hand it off again here. Smith the back this time. And the defense ready, the number 1 rushing defense ready to rock and roll again there. Just a gain of 1.
And it's interesting, Jason, we talk about the lack of passing. One of the things we talked to the coaching staff about with Darius Ocean is those 3 turnovers they had last week. And they said they were doing some things different to help him out to prevent those turnovers. And I think what they've done is they said, we're not going to throw the football. We're just going to run the football. But you're running against the best run defense in the conference. So you've got to pick your poison. And I think you've got to put a little bit more trust into Ocean and allow him to try and get the ball down the field.
Yeah, 3 interceptions last week, but he's an experienced guy. Of course, knows how to battle through any sort of turnover struggles. 3rd and long here, kind of an obvious passing down situation. Unless he opts to run it, which he can do, but won't have a chance to do that because he's brought down in the backfield. Iman Davis from his linebacker position, able to make the play.
And right there, the all-conference left guard, Isaiah Turner, got beat on that play, number 77. You've got to do a good job of maintaining your blocks, and that starts with getting inside hands. You've got to get those hands inside the shoulder plate. He got those hands outside on the shoulder pass, and what that allowed is for the defensive lineman to disengage. You want to be able to control those guys. It's got to be a hand fight out there. It's kind of like when you're a boxer. A boxer doesn't just put his hands out. He keeps those hands moving. Boom, boom. You got to keep punching to keep those guys off of you.
Colton Ford to punt this away. Pretty short punt. So, I mean, Forrest, you told me what feels like a few minutes ago, you really can't miss opportunities against Albany State because they can hurt you. They'll try to hurt Benedict again when we come back.
For 16 years strong, only getting stronger. Learn more and retool your school.
Unlock more sports for one unbeatable price. Get unrivaled coverage all year long. Introducing the new ESPN Fox One bundle.
Isaiah Knowles comes back out, still 6 of 7 through the air, 99 yards. He has looked so poised all season long. That consistency rolling over into Championship Saturday today just sounded so calm when we chatted with him yesterday. Loves the offensive line in front of him. They've been guiding the way so far. That last drive, 6 plays, 80 yards, little trickery this time, and a big hit on Amari Stewart. And he is slow to get up. Ty Patterson, a crunching hit that you could hear from up here, Forrest.
And what's interesting about Ty Patterson, he's described as a violent finisher. And watch the violence that he finishes with on this play. You've got to keep your head up, son. You're coming around on that jet sweep action. You've got to know these linebackers are coming downhill. But an offensive lineman, that is your assignment. And that's what happens when you have a missed assignment. You've got to get up and cover those guys because they're coming downhill, especially a guy like Ty Patterson. 6'2", 245 pounds of aggression.
Other ways they described him, extremely passionate about football. I think you saw that in the replay. And plays very well in space. Those two things combining right there. It was what Benedict needed on defense to start, but a deep shot down the sideline in stride. That is incomplete. Fans are up on their feet. Looks like a lot of sun in the eyes of the receiver, Amari Stewart, who's very slow to get up once again here. Looks like Dante Craggett Drake was in on the coverage this time, all the way down the sideline for us.
And you see the double move, and I like what he did on that play because he slowed down a little bit. He kind of snaked the defensive back as if the ball wasn't coming his way, and then he sped up as the ball got closer to him. You hope that he's just gotten the wind knocked out of him. The way he was rolling around, holding his midsection area, you hope that's all that's wrong with him. But a great attempt, but as you said, the sun probably got into his eyes and he wasn't able to locate the football at the top of that route.
A pretty good throw. But the concern right now is for Amari Stewart, the Bethune-Cookman transfer, who is one of their fastest guys on the team. That's why they'll take deep shots like that with him down the sideline. But having trouble emerging up over there out of bounds. As you mentioned, Forrest, definitely saw him land on his lower body there, kind of near the marker. Went down hard. Yeah, hard and awkward.
And hard. And like I said, you just hope that that's maybe the wind being knocked out of him. A great attempt on that football. He almost had it. Great route concept. And like I said, I like what he did. Kind of snaking the defensive back, slowing down a little bit.
One interesting part about that part of the field, Forrest, is look at special teams so far in this game, kickoffs in particular. They've all been to that side, knowing the sun has been in the eyes of the returner, which has made special teams kind of a challenge today. The lone Benedict score came on a blocked punt. Looks like Stewart is up. Good to see that.
And I must say again, Jason, it is a lovely crowd out here today.
It is. Great day for a championship game. And these two fan bases love their teams. Benedict fans making the trip. Albany State, the host site this year. Second time in the last 3 years they've met in the championship game. Beautiful 77-degree day in Albany, Georgia. Picture perfect for postseason football.
What a great sight to see him able to walk over to the other side of the field. We'll keep an eye out for Amari Stewart.
Head coaches today, Albany State, Quinn Gray. He was ready for this one. Ron Dickerson on the other side for Benedict. Both of them telling us you want to be remembered in November. Who can come up with the big plays, execute the details, overcome the emotion.
And did you sense the anger when we talked to Coach Dickerson? There was just a tone, an undertone of anger and frustration, like, okay, I don't even want to talk about the game. I'm just ready to get to it and play it. He didn't want to talk about what happened the last time. All he wanted to talk about was the opportunity that they had to come and play this team once again. And you feel that from his team and from what they've been able to do, you know, on some of the plays, especially on that play where Ty Patterson came downhill and, you know, put a helmet on the helmet.
Absolutely. Ron Dickerson has helped kind of shortly rebuild this squad after they had a lot of guys leave by the transfer portal. He took over now in his second season in a program that's used to being on this stage. But Albany State won the matchup on October 25th. They're up 7 here. Prompt collision between Reich and Isaiah Stevens, who makes the tackle to force fourth down.
And you see what they did on that play. They showed 6 at the line of scrimmage. They dropped back into coverage, but then they also brought the twist. So for the offensive lineman, you've got a pre-snap read of the blitz coming. Then you see them drop back, so you think you've got your man covered. But then you've got to deal with the stunts and the twists on the outside. So that's how you confuse an offensive line. Great play call by the defense for Benedict.
Deshaun Mingo back to return. Chance for potentially some good field position for Benedict now, after the big stop from their defense.
Timeout. Albany State. That's their second timeout of the half. This is a 30-second timeout.
Heard their timeout called by Albany State. Tomorrow on Sunday NFL Countdown, NFC Showdowns here live. Reports and analysis from Lions, Eagles, and Seahawks, Rams. That'll be coming up on Sunday. Then Monday night, our Week 11 Monday Night Football matchup. The Cowboys will take on the Raiders at 8 Eastern on ABC, ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and the all-new ESPN app. Peyton and Eli over on ESPN2. Coverage kicks off with US/NFL Live at 3 Eastern in Vegas. Then Scott Van Pelt and the Monday Night Countdown crew at 6 Eastern. Ian Kelly to punt. And Mingo drifting back instead of his own 30 at the 28. A 38-yard punt, and now Benedict an opportunity to answer big stage of the game if they can do so. 6:53 to go in the second quarter of a one-score game.
Now the question, I think, Jason, is from the Benedict side of the field, does Coach Dickerson, does Coach Clayton start to trust their quarterback a little bit more and allow him to throw the football? I think they've got to be more diverse offensively. Right now, their identity is running the football, but you can't run the football against the number 1 defense against the run in the conference, the number 4 defense in the country against the run. You've got to be more diverse with your offense.
Just 2 pass plays so far, one of which was on the first play of the game. So we'll see, Forrest, if they make those adjustments. They will try to patiently run it here. Nothing doing on the interior. I mean, it's just such a challenge. Albany State has brought that level against the rush all season long. But that's not changing today.
And when you look at the challenge, you've got Abraham Cleanscale, 6 feet, 285 at one defensive tackle. You've got Cerise Peterson, 6'1", 290. So both of these guys play with leverage and play with low pad level. And that's what makes it difficult to get movement in the interior part of that defense from Albany State.
Benedict offense has been inside of the Albany State 35 twice. Didn't score either time. We'll hand it off again, trying to run again, staying very low. Right down to the turf. David Smith will merge up off the blue turf. Almost crawling here for us.
And I think right there, what you saw from Albany State is Chauncey Brown, number 45, get caught up in the mix. For a linebacker, you need to sit back, be able to diagnose, and then when you see the ball carrier, get upfield.
Big 3rd and 1, still with the 2 timeouts. Ends 2 minute. And they get pushed back. Number 1 rushing defense in the conference steps up again. Tyquan Glenn, 6'1", 284 in the interior, filling the hole.
And a better job right there by Chauncey Brown, number 45. He diagnosed it, got up there, got a helmet on the football, and he allowed pursuit to get there to make the tackle. That is what you do, as opposed to running up in there and giving your body up. You sit back, you diagnose where the football is, then you get upfield and attack the ball carrier.
Won't give him enough on forward progress for the fresh set of downs. So Ocean with under 5 to go. Big to get the yardage they needed. Now he'll roll out and gets flushed to the sideline. Iman Davis stalking him all the way over there.
And you saw Davis kind of playing a spy technique. He's watching the quarterback. He's watching Ocean, As soon as Ocean breaks to the outside, Davis gets up the field. A good job of staying on top of Davis, not allowing him to get to the edge to get up the field. I like the speed that you saw by Davis, mirroring him and then getting up the field.
Davis, another Georgia native. No gain on the last play. Morgan the back, quick first step. Gets brought down, sets up 3rd and manageable here after a gain of 4. So now another big 3rd down coming up. They converted twice already today.
And you see how quick Morgan hits this hole. If the tackle is not made right there by number 99, Tyquan Glenn, Morgan may still be running. You see Morgan asking for the face mask, but I think Glenn did a good job of getting him around the top of the shoulder pads and getting him down.
Kind of a statement to keep running it against defense that's been so good. And now 3rd down. backward exchange. And the defense for Albany State stepping up. Luke Rose makes the tackle.
And because they're continuing to run the football, you see the Albany State defense just collapse everything to the inside. They squeeze the pocket, not allowing for any lane to develop for the running back to get up the field. I think if you're going to try and run against this Albany State defense, you need to try to get to the edges. Right now, they're crashing everything down inside. You see defensive ends hopping to the inside prior to the snap of the football, once again confusing the blocking assignments from the offensive line for Benedict.
Smart decision to punt here?
Absolutely.
Cameron Watts awaiting it. Let's see the roll. It's going to take a Benedict roll. To the 15s now, still 2:35 to work with for Albany State. Offensively, we know how quickly they can move after the 44-yard punt. What kind of tempo you look for out of their offense here?
I look for that tempo offense from them to line up on the football if they get positive yards. And one of the things that Knowles does a great job of is spreading the ball around, getting the ball to his different playmakers on the outside. You've got Davis, you've got McCray, you've got Williams, you've got Jackson, you've got Dorsey, Petty, Stewart, and you've got the backs out of the backfield. So he's got a plethora of people that he can get the ball to. It all depends on that all-conference offensive line, those three first-teamers. Can they block on the edge? Can they give him the time that he needs? And can he get the coverage and the matchups that he wants that are more favorable?
The last drive resulted in a punt. Knowles, their consummate leader all season long, going to work again here. Not great starting field position. Good improvisation, though. Davis had a big catch and run last week. Has another here. Out to the 50. Inside of Benedict territory. Jamarion Davis, who stepped up in the starting tight end role at a 45-yard catch last week, has a 43-yarder here.
And you see, this is what they call a bait play. What Davis does is he acts as though he's blocking Amari Terry, and when Terry thinks he's got pressure on the quarterback, they throw the ball right to him because Knowles know that nobody's there to cover Davis up because the guy that was supposed to be covering him, Terry, thinks he's got pressure and is going to make the sack.
Well, this is where they start moving quickly. Knowles directing traffic, lost it up. Was that hauled in bounds? They're going to say incomplete. Over on the sideline, Knowles thought he had his target. And Javion Jackson.
Ruling on the play that the pass was incomplete. This is the 2-minute timeout.
I think that's a catch.
Everyone on the Albany State sideline was adamant about it. It was a 43-yard catch from Jamarion Davis that set up the shot down the sideline there. We'll be right back.
The rule on the field is an incomplete pass. The previous play is under further review.
So the ruling on the field, that last incomplete catch from Javion Jackson. We're going to take a look at it here so you can see the chances of it potentially getting overturned. Forrest, there's definitely going to be some blue turf between his toe and the sideline.
But did you see in the middle of the field? That's the thing that I was looking at initially. Yeah. The receiver was held right in front of the official, and they didn't make that call. That should have been a holding penalty right there. Watch.
Oh, yeah.
Coming from the left side of your screen, right there. He's changing his whole running pattern with the way that he grabbed him in front of the official. But then you get to the sideline right here. He's got his foot down. I think the question will be, did he maintain control? Because the foot is in bounds. You see the blue in between his toe and the sideline. So he's definitely got a foot inbounds. He's got possession of the football right here. The question that I think what the officials are looking at is, did he maintain control of the football going all the way down? Right there, it looks like he's maintained control. Well, no, I think that's where he's incomplete. I think right there is what we saw. The ball, he didn't maintain control.
Is uphill.
A great point at the end there, Forrest. Did not maintain control all the way through the process.
But if you're Albany State, you should be angered because that holding in the middle of the field should have been called. It was blatant, but then right here we see he did not maintain control. A good effort, great effort, foot inbounds.
Play is uphill.
That was Williams hanging on for dear life on what should have been a hold call, as you mentioned there. Nonetheless, in the scheme overall of this football game, that was a big call for Benedict to get in their favor, trying to desperately keep Albany State from making this a two-score game heading into the locker room. Well, this is a big defensive series for Benedict on the road here in this SIAC Championship game.
And if you're Albany State, you want to get some points on the board on this drive. You know, Benedict will get the ball coming out in the second half. So you want to go up 2 scores at halftime. It would preferably be another touchdown, but if you can at least get 3, you add a little bit more pressure onto this Benedict offense to come out and show that they can score. Because once again, we talked about it in the last football game. They were only able to get 3 points. In this game, they only have 7 because of the block punt. So offensively, they have not been able to get anything going against this Albany State defense in these last 2 games.
Yeah, special teams responsible for the lone score. No one's going to step up. Gets flushed, lofts it up, open target caught. Inside of the red zone. Jameel Williams this time.
And that's a special play by Knowles. He got pressure from the outside, but because the guards in the center did a good job of keeping the depth, he's able to climb the pocket. And as he gets those linebackers to react, he keeps his eyes down the field.
Open left side. Opportunity for Weiss. Gets inside and just about the 6-yard line. Prior play was a gain of 24. That's a gain of 7. Albany State's been cooking in the red zone all season long. Last time they were down here, Knowles utilized his legs to get in himself. His family sitting right below us on the edge of their seats, watching the grad student from Tampa and transfer from Navy a few seasons ago go to work once again nearing the end zone. They'll fake it to Weiss, dump it off. Davis going to work, trying to break tackles. But a good one made out in space. Josh Madope able to make the play there.
And right now, if you're Albany State, you're not in a rush. You want to let as much time tick off the clock as possible. Because if you do give the ball back to Benedict, whether you score or not, you don't want to give them the ball with a lot of time left on the clock.
Staring at making this a 2-possession game heading into the locker room. Not guaranteed yet, though. Nothing guaranteed between these 2 teams. Quick dart of a throw. Caught. Ball did come out. We're going to say that was incomplete. Never completed the process. Cam Williams made a great hit to jar it loose and force what should be a field goal attempt.
And I tell you what, Jason, I'm a little disappointed in the offensive lineman. Zamir Pellicet, you've got an opportunity right there to catch the ball out of the air and do what every offensive lineman wants to do. Make a big play, big fella. Grab the ball and get to the end zone. Don't put your hands up like you don't want it. It's not a hot potato.
Now that's the voice of an offensive lineman who knows the feeling of scoring a touchdown. Or craving one. Kyle Wright on to attempt a 29-yarder. Big one to try to make it a two-score game. Under minutes to go in the half. Benedict would get the ball to begin the second half. We get a flag.
Delay game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still fourth down.
Now they'll back Kyle Wright up a bit. Looks like we get a timeout called prior to the field goal.
Timeout. Benedict. That's their second timeout of the half. This is a 30-second timeout.
Well, the NWSL playoffs roll on. We'll have the second semifinal matchup of the weekend. The defending champs, the Orlando Pride, will square off against Gotham, the 2023 champs. Coverage begins tomorrow afternoon at 3 Eastern on ABC, ESPN Deportes, and the all-new ESPN app. It's postseason. Best time of the year. Postseason in the SIAC Championship game today. Trophy on the line for all the conference marbles in a packed house here at Albany State Coliseum. Built in 2004. And the host site for the first time since 2019 for this SIAC Championship game. And now, 34-yard field goal attempts for Kyle Wright. An important one to try to make it a two-possession game. They got it. 17-7. After Wright capitalizes transfer from Grambling State. Important kick there. Benedict again has had their opportunities similar to when these teams met in October, but have not capitalized offensively yet. Lone touchdown for them, a special teams touchdown on a blocked punt. You see their drive chart so far in this one.
And there's got to be some concern on the Benedict sideline as their offense continues to be stagnant against this stout Albany State defense. You've gone 6 quarters now without scoring a touchdown offensively against this defense if this continues all the way to halftime, and that is a concern for Benedict. They've got to find a way to be able to move the football offensively and score. If not for anything else, but from a confidence standpoint right now. You've got to look and say that there's a lack of confidence going on right now.
Saw the energy there from Benedict head coach Ron Dickerson trying to fire up his team. Ian Kelly going to kick it off. Deshaun Mingo and Jackson Williams back to return. Another quick scoring drive for Albany State. That's been the theme. They went 7 plays, 68 yards, 155. The big plays, the explosive plays, also favoring Albany State. A 43-yard catch and run from Jamarion Davis on that last series led to them marching down the field quickly. And third down conversion starting to favor Albany State as well.
Now, what's dangerous right here, Jason, is you know Albany State's going to bring the house. They're going to bring pressure because they may look for Benedict to throw the football, but Benedict has not thrown the football today. So do they just continue to do what they do and just try and run the football, run the clock out, knowing they'll get the ball in the second half to start the second half? Or do they try to get vertical with the pass game? Because if they do, you possibly put yourself in a position to give up an easy turnover.
Benedict hasn't lost on the road this season. 4-0 away from home. The Albany State loss was in Columbia. Now Darius Ocean back to work, but with minimal time, 40 seconds and 1 timeout. Not an offense really built to go down the field quickly. Go to the air for just the 4th time today. Nice juke move, though. Illman gets out near the 40. Gain of 12 that time. Trying to get up to the line of scrimmage as they reset the chains here.
And you see what Albany's doing. They're dropping 7 in the coverage, only rushing 4. They want to keep everything in front of them. They don't care about those receptions. They just want to keep everything in front of them.
Block starts moving again as they reset the chains. Ocean to the air. Get underthrown along the sideline and picked off. Interceptions were an issue a week ago for Ocean. Tyrell Gainey, who had a pick himself a week ago for Albany State, he forced a fumble earlier. Today he has an interception on this play.
If you watch that play, he's just playing man coverage on the outside, tight coverage. If you're Ocean, you want to put some air under the football and allow your receiver to run under it. But he tried to throw what looked like a back shoulder throw with tight coverage on the outside. A bad decision by Ocean.
Tyrell Gainey having himself a championship day performance. A forced fumble and now an interception for the redshirt sophomore from Orlando.
And we talked about that, a turnover, a costly turnover. Now, if you're Albany State, you just want to try and get one big play down the field. Look to get in field goal range.
Knowles is looking downfield. Now he'll use his legs. Step up and gets dropped down as the clock winds down within 10 seconds.
And I thought Knowles should have tried to get to the sideline to get out of bounds as opposed to trying to cut back inside.
Albany State. That's their final timeout of the half. This is a 30-second timeout. Please set the game clock to 11 seconds. 11 seconds.
I thought that was a mistake by Knowles. You want to get the ball to the outside, get out of bounds, save that timeout. When you don't see anything down the field, or maybe just throw the ball away and preserve that. I know he saw some space, but you've got to look at the time that you've got left. He had about 20 seconds when that play started. You've got to realize that you're not going to get the necessary yards to put you in a position to attempt a field goal. Throw the ball away. If it's not there like it's drawn up, just get rid of the football.
Now 11 seconds left in the opening half. Benedict will receive a second half kick. This SIAC championship game. So the two head coaches, Quinn Gray for Albany State, Ron Dickerson for Benedict. Isaiah Knowles is like a coach on the field for this Albany State team. Such a great voice in the locker room, great voice in the huddle. He's got 2nd and 6 now after the timeout. Maybe a chance for 1 to 2 more plays. He has a lot of blue in front of him. Inside of the 50, going to get out of bounds with 2 seconds.
And I think now you set yourself up for a Hail Mary attempt. Good job by Knowles getting as many yards as possible, getting out of bounds, stopping the clock. Now you want to get your biggest and tallest receivers, your receivers that are possession receivers, guys that can get up and high point the football, put the ball up in the air and see if one of those guys can go and make a play for you, or possibly get an interference call and put you in field goal range.
Tyrell Gainey just joined the field as a wide receiver. He's been forcing turnovers defensively today. They lofted up in his direction. Batted and incomplete. So Gainey, you can't see him there with his hands on his head. He was kind of doing it all. He's already got an interception, a forced fumble. He wanted a Hail Mary touchdown catch there. His team does have a 17-7 lead heading into the locker room. SIAC championship game, Albany State and Benedict, all the conference marbles on the line. It's a 10-point lead for the Golden Rams, hosting the SIAC championship for the first time since 2019, and off to a fantastic start with those teams going for that trophy. It's halftime here in Albany, where Albany State leads at 17-7. Due to time constraints, we'll move forward in the action. Forrest, you okay with me looking ahead here and saying Benedict's huge that they're going to get the ball to receive the second half kickoff? What do they need to do to get the offense rolling?
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, that'll be.
That's snow cone. Do you see that? Ice cream.
Are we good on our spots? Okay.
Welcome back to Albany, 17-7 halftime of the SIAC Championship game here at Albany State Coliseum. A fun start to this one. These teams meeting for the second time in 3 years in the conference championship game. Jason Ross Jr. alongside Forrest Connolly here with you inside of the booth. So Albany State strikes first. Benedict answers with the special teams touchdown. Forrest, it feels huge that Benedict, a team that hasn't gotten the offense really going today, is going to get the ball to begin the second half.
Well, for Benedict, they've got to be more diverse with their offense. Only 4 pass plays that whole first half. I think they are very predictable right now offensively. They just are trying to run the football against the #1 rush defense in the conference, the #4 rush defense in the country. That's not going to get it done. They've got to be more diverse with their offense.
The name of the game for Albany State this year has been the variety, has been completing the game in every phase. So far, they've done that.
Well, they have 16 passes, 17 rushes. They have been what you ask for on an offense. They do it on both ways, on both sides of the football, running and passing the football. And you don't know where they're coming from and how they're doing it. And then the chunk plays. Something they had 5 chunk plays the last time they played. We've seen 2 or I think maybe even 3 big chunk plays in this ball game. So they've been very effective doing exactly what they want to do offensively. And defensively, they have something going. I think offensively for Benedict, they've got a lot of questions. You've gone 6 quarters now without being able to score a touchdown against this vaunted Albany State defense.
Yeah, to their point of those explosive plays, we're going to take a look at a few of them in the highlights. There was a 43-yarder on their last series, Albany State. This is how things began with the Whites punching it in.
Well, he did a good job of following his all-conference offensive line, that whole left side of that offensive line. And then here, the big block right here, Isaiah Williams. That has been, Isaiah Brown, the only big play for Benedict. But then right here, the quarterback does a good job. He did not have what he wanted to pass the football, but because of that condensed alignment, he was able to get back around the edge to get the touchdown. A good job by Knowles. And then once again, they do a good job of bringing pressure, not allowing Ocean to go anywhere with the football, confusing the offensive lineman, knocking his helmet off when they got the sack.
Been a physical game. You can feel the emotion, feel what's on the line. There's a trophy on the line today. And the SIAC Championship game, second half, is coming up next. 17-7 Albany State. As we near the start of the second half here, see fairly even outside of the total yards. Explosive plays definitely favoring Albany State, creating that separation there. With time of possession about even. We'll see what the separating factors are here in the second half as we get set to kick this off. Turnover battle favoring Albany State. They forced 2. Quinn Gray, the head coach for Albany State, on the right side. Ron Dickerson, head coach for Benedict, on the left side. Their teams have 1 half to play for an SIAC championship. And Williams back to return here, looking for the edge. Got to the 20. It was a circuitous route to get there. And this Benedict offense feels big that they get to begin the second half with the football. However, they have struggled for us in their now game and a half against Albany State this year.
Well, I think for Benedict, they've got to show that they can score a touchdown right now. 6 quarters, no touchdowns, only 3 points. And you see the graphic right there, 16 drives, 11 punts, 3 points. That is not going to get it if you're expecting to win a championship, especially against this stout defense. And the farther they fall behind, the more they put themselves in a position to have to pass the football, which will allow this abusive pass rush by Albany State to get up the field and attack Ocean in that passing game.
They'll hand it off, opening play of the second half. The lack of balance was surprising in terms of play selection opening half. I know you want to see the adjustment happen at some point.
Well, I think if you're not comfortable with Ocean, passing the ball vertically, get some passes out on the flat. That's an extension of the run game. Do some short crossing routes, some safe routes. You've got some seam opportunities as well with your tight ends. But you've got to be able to pass the football. You've got to open up this offense. You've got to show your offense that you have confidence in your quarterback.
They'll let him throw it here. Goes to the air after a couple of pumps. Again, kind of what you were noting there, underneath, short route. Able to go to Trey Simmons that time. You see the play selection overall, 23 runs to 5 passes.
But you look at that pass play, that's a dangerous pass play because you're passing from the opposite hash across the field. That's not an easy pass play for a quarterback. You've got to have a guy that has a real lively arm to make that pass and put it in a position where the back or the receiver can catch it and make a move. You saw the back had to go down because the pass actually wasn't long enough.
Lefty throwing across his body, too, there. Throw it again here, looking similar side. Steps up and to improvise, incomplete, but a late flag. Should see Noah Johnson calling for what he saw was contact made. We'll take another look at it and see what gets called here. It could be a big one.
Pass interference. Defense. Number 2. 15-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
So they get Luke Rose, and Benedict catches a break.
But you've got to start allowing your quarterback to pass the ball downfield. A good job by Ocean. Taking what the defense gives him. He sees an opportunity. The receiver's not even looking to make a play on the football. You've got to turn around if you're Johnny Arneas Jr., the true freshman, and look to give your quarterback help. Look to try and make a play for your quarterback. Look and see where the quarterback is looking. You never know when you're going to be the option that the quarterback looks at.
High snap. They'll give it to Morgan. Rips through the hole. Broke a couple of tackles. That is what they need out of the run game. Don't want to, of course, totally abandon that either because it's been the bread and butter over the last couple of weeks when they've been the best rushing team in the conference.
But when you pass the ball a couple of times, now you get the defense to thinking about the pass game, which allows you to create opportunities for your run game to get going.
Gain of 25 on the ground for Morgan, who's over 700 rushing yards on the season now, and has surpassed his total from the first meeting between these teams when he was limited to 14 yards. Give it back to him, Stutter stepping his way. And a patient carry. He and David Smith have been the 2 backs today for Benedict.
Now, what I want to see from Benedict is show me some pass game now. You had the big play with the run game. You go right back to the run game. Now be versatile. Be variable with your offensive play calling. Don't just try and run the ball down the gut. You know they're preparing to stop the run. That's what they are and what they specialize in.
The crowd trying to get into it early stages, second half. Morgan just slipped up that time. Benedict last won the conference in 2023, aiming for a third title in 4 years. Albany State, their most wins since 2021 when they went 10-2, won the conference championship that year.
And if you're Ocean, when you see the defensive line shift pre-snap, you need to hold up on that snap count, allow your offensive linemen to get their new reads so they can understand what their blocking assignments are.
Third and 9, and not really in field goal range here. Ocean quickly pressured, eludes it, but then gets tracked down, and they lose a couple more yards. Looks like Aiden Henningham got there along with Isaiah Morrison. 2 stars in this Albany State defense combining. It's a loss of 4, and Ocean hobbled going to the sideline.
And you see what they did? They showed 5 at the line of scrimmage, and they brought 6. The offensive tackles are doing a poor job of setting back. They're standing straight up. You've got to get kick steps back. You've got to keep your shoulders square to the line of scrimmage. Give your quarterback some width in the pocket to be able to go side to side. If you're standing up, you're giving a short corner, allowing those defensive ends to get immediate pressure on your quarterback.
Colton Ford, Arizona native, on to punt. Another big stand in a crucial part of the field. Just outside of field goal range is where Albany State's defense comes up big. 30-yard punt. Cameron Watts with the fair catch. And now Isaiah Knowles going to come back out offensively. The QB for Albany State, who began his career at Navy, told us yesterday the 5 a.m. wake-ups to lift, then class from 7 to 3 at Navy, then practice for a couple of hours, then homework after that, led to him developing into the leader in person he is. Tampa native, went up to Rhode Island to prep at Navy Prep before that. That was a big move for him, said it made him mature quickly. And he has looked so poised today throughout the course of this first half, now his first series of the second half.
And I've been impressed with his decision-making and not forcing it, taking what the defense gives.
Once it down the seam, incomplete. Maybe chalk that one up as a drop. Looking for Gentry Sparks, tight end. Really all day he's been going to Jamarion Davis at the tight end spot.
It just took a little bit off of this football. I think he got excited because you see your receiver down the seam. There's nobody there. You know if you get the ball to him, he has an opportunity for a huge play.
That one had potential, and you're Benedict's early in this half, but feels like a must-stop possession.
And what I like, Jason, is they're attacking this defense. They're just not trying to run the ball to get out of the shadow of their own end zone. They're attacking this defense with the idea of trying to score, trying to get it on a big play.
That's been the difference today between the mindsets of these teams. Some adjustments from Benedict defensively. This time Albany State runs it at them. In the last matchup, yards per carry on the ground were big for Albany State. Weish averaged 7.5 per carry. That October 25th matchup hasn't quite hit that mark today, but the balance offensively and explosive plays have led to success for Albany State. Big third down coming up for the Benedict defense here. Knowles well protected. Offensive line continues to do a great job. That ball, though, in and out of the hands of the intended target, Amari Stewart. Great coverage from Cam Williams to just stick with it for us. And I think he ripped it out of there.
And Cam Williams, the guy that had an interception the first time these two teams played. You see him doing a good job of backpedaling, keeping his eyes on the receiver and getting a hand in there and knocking it out right as the ball gets there. That's exactly how it's drawn up from a defensive perspective. A good job by Amari Stewart trying to squeeze that football, but a better job by Cam Williams knocking that ball out.
Deshaun Mingo, punt returner, is setting up inside of the 50. So they're going to have some great field position coming up and a big opportunity for Benedict offensively.
The college football playoff begins December 19th and concludes with the national championship January 19th on ESPN. The college football playoff begins December 19th and concludes with the national championship January 19th on ESPN.
Can't wait for the playoff. We were just keeping an eye on that wacky game and comeback for Texas A&M. They were down 33. Now 30-30 here, 17-7 in the SIAC Championship game. Albany State up. Benedict with a massive opportunity. Darius Ocean comes out, presented with a gift in the form of their best starting field position all day. In plus territory at the 45 of Albany State. Flushed, though, gets that away, so doesn't lose yardage on this. Derek Drayton had the pressure there. We were wondering if Drayton would play today. He's got 6 sacks on the season. Was a big question mark entering today for the Albany State defense. You see here, total yards through the first 2 drives of the day for Ron Dickerson's team versus the last 4 drives. Those first 2 they were moving it. Got inside the 35 twice of Albany State, but didn't score either time. There was a fumble, and then they gave it away. So 17-7 the score because of that. Only have so many opportunities to capitalize against this Albany State defense. Can they do it here with such great field position?
Here's what Albany State's doing. They're only rushing forward, but they're running with that stunt defense, so they're bringing those defensive tackles, looping them around to the outside and crashing down with those defensive ends. And what they're doing, they're continuing to mess with the blocking schemes of Benedict.
Crowd gets involved on 3rd down. Quick throw right at the sticks to Malik Mullins. We'll see where they mark this. Regardless, you'd be going for it if you don't have it.
Absolutely. You've got to go for it right here. You've got to challenge your offensive line to be able to get you 1 yard.
And they are going to call it 4th and about half a yard. Well, these are the big moments in the championship game.
And this, Jason, is when I like to see old school football. Get the quarterback under center. and go quarterback sneak.
4th and about half a yard. Boxes stacked up. Can they get there? To the edge goes Smith. And a fresh set of downs to keep this drive moving.
And that's a great job by the offensive line and by the offensive scheme. You do a condensed line of scrimmage, gets everything condensed inside, and you allow and create a natural edge for your back to get around the edge to get the first down. You get it to your speedy back Smith. He's able to get that first down conversion for the offense.
Albany State 4-0 at home this year. Benedict 4-0 on the road this year. Ocean going to drop back, goes over the seam, has a target, has a completion. It's Simmons inside of the 10, keeps his feet alive to the 6-yard line. Biggest pass play of the day. It's 28 yards, and Benedict is cooking in the red zone now.
And a good job by Ocean. You see the receiver found a hole in coverage, got himself set up for his quarterback to find somewhere to go with the football. A good job by Simmons.
Go back to the ground, running defense ready for Albany State. Isaiah Morrison, their guy on the edge, comes up big again. Loss of 1 that time. In the red zone now, down inside goal line territory. Forrest, what do you think of here play call wise?
Well, I think if you're Benedict, you can't be predictable. I think right now on 2nd down, this is an opportunity to try to get a short route, get the ball out. If you don't feel comfortable with your quarterback going down the middle of that defense, throw it out in the flat. Get the ball to a playmaker in space. Allow one of your playmakers to get one-on-one with the defender.
Yeah, you got 3 wideouts here that could all potentially be one-on-one situations.
And I think David Smith in the flat is a good play.
Quick throw, quick catch. And a touchdown to Troy Hillman. This is a 4-point game.
And you talk about a confidence builder. You go with the short crossing route, the quick inside route. A good job by Ocean putting the ball right on Hillman. Hillman does a good job of squeezing that football. And it all started with Albany State not getting hands on that receiver, giving him a free release off the offensive line. You've got to get hands on him. That's a timing route. You allowed him to get off.
Extra point was blocked. Now Albany State trying to take it back. It is Tyrell Gainey, who had an interception and forced a fumble earlier. Now he takes the blocked extra point attempt back. What a championship day for Tyrell Gainey. Add 2 on the board for the Golden Rams.
And if there's an MVP, go ahead and give it to him. I mean, the way that this young man has performed all afternoon, he has been Johnny on the spot all day long.
Tyrell Gainey, the magical day continues. There's the touchdown first to Hillman. They thought, this is big for us because they thought they were going to make it a 3-point game. Instead, it's a 6-point game, put 2 on the board. Gainey, a 4th fumble, interception. Now he takes the extra point back to the house for 2. Tyrell Gainey today, forced fumble, interception, almost caught a Hail Mary because they had him playing both sides of the ball at one point. And now takes the extra point attempts back here for 2 points. We'll see it. Joshua Jones had the block.
And he came right from the middle. And you see Gainey right here running down the field. Now, I'll tell you one thing that was dangerous. His teammate is running. You can't see it from this angle, but he's pointing back at the defender. And you could have gotten an unsportsmanlike penalty on that play, so you have to be very careful. I know you're excited and you're upbeat about the big play that you just made defensively, but you've got to be careful. You can't antagonize the other team.
Gainey's got to feel like he's on the playground right now, just playing every position after school one day. But no, he's in a championship game and having a magical performance. Cameron Watts and Jameel Williams are back to return for Albany State. Watts has it. And he gets brought down quickly just past his own 20-yard line. But a one-score game now. Benedict, it was big. We'll keep an eye on how that progresses score-wise, because had the extra point attempt simply gone through, you're looking at a 3-point game. Instead, a 6-point game with 6:33 to go in this third quarter.
And those 2 points are big, because if you're Albany State, you're thinking, okay, even if we don't get a touchdown, if we get a field goal, we still put ourselves up 2 scores.
It's a great point moving forward. And the Benedict defense come up big again. They set their offense up with their best field position of the day. That last drive that just led to the touchdown. Knowles goes back to work. Quick throw, caught by Javion Jackson. Up the sideline he goes, gets pushed out. Now they'll kind of move with that tempo, looking at the sideline again. Most wins since 2021 for Albany State. First time going 8-0 in conference play as well since 2021. Won the conference championship game that year. Trying to replicate the success and get revenge from losing the 2023 championship game to Benedict. Isaiah Knowles was a part of that game. He'll go to pass again. This time pumping and going deep down the sideline. Incomplete. Wanted Jameel Williams. Back on the coverage was Dante Craggett-Drake.
And I think you're going to get a roughing the passer on this play.
Yeah, right in that zone is where you have a couple of flags down.
If you're Jacoby Wall, you've got to be able to pull up.
Roughing the passer. Defense, number 91. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
The Knowles family right below us likes the call.
And there's several players there that get there, but 91 takes an ill-advised cheap shot on the quarterback. You know you cannot do that. He's let go of the football. You've got to pull up. I understand you're frustrated right now, but Jahaven Phillips, you hurt your team by taking that ill-advised shot. Now you give them a new set of downs, a fresh set of downs, basically at the center point of the field, putting them closer and closer to field goal range.
All year long, haven't been able to give Albany State anything and expect them not to capitalize on it. We'll stop forward progress here. Then, Forrest, you told me before the game these teams don't like each other. See an example right here.
They absolutely don't, but I'm a little disappointed in Leon Wesley, the first team offensive guard, the left guard on that play, number 62. He had an opportunity to make a block. If he makes his block and maintains his block, there's an opportunity for a big play on that play. You've got to do your 111th. You're an all-conference player. This is a key drive for this football game, for the conference championship. You can't pull up. They expect more from you, Leon Wesley.
Brings up 2nd and 9. Both teams using up the clock on their drives in this third quarter. Five on the play clock here for Isaiah Knowles. Gets down to 2. They get it off. Pressure comes quickly, and he goes down quickly. Racing off the edge was Nakocha. Loss of 6.
And a good job right there, understanding that the Albany State offense was under pressure to try and get the snap before the play clock winded down, and they brought a delayed blitz on the left side of the offensive formation. They did not recognize that everyone blocked down. There were no offensive players to block those two defenders coming off the edge. It's a good thing that Knowles was able to hold on to the football, how immediate that pressure was, and got on top of him.
Nkocha with the big play. Now they'll line it up again. 3rd and 15. Play clock winding down again. It's at 2. They bring the pressure again. Nkocha again. Back-to-back sacks for Izzy. The Atlanta native coming up big. One of the few Benedict players that played and had an impact in that 2023 title game. Even then, he was still working his way up the roster. He has arrived in this game today.
Well, he's going in virtually untouched, and that is poor recognition by the offensive line. And once again, I think you've got those guys in a position where they're rushing to get the ball snapped. Maybe you take a timeout and slow things down just a tad bit if you're the offense for Albany State.
Well, big plays from the Benedict defense and their star player, Izzy Nkocha. 40-yard punt. Big opportunity for Benedict offensively when we come back in the dwindling stages of the third quarter. Forced defense today for Albany State. They have bottled up the run as they have done all season long.
Well, they've gotten upfield. They play with violent hands. They've clogged up the lanes, and they play gap sound, keeping the edges, not allowing Benedict to get around the edge. And when they've tried to run in between the tackles, there's been nothing doing. They have done everything that you can ask for from a run defensive perspective and slowing down and stopping this Benedict offense. Now, they've got some big plays that last drive, but that was the first time they've been able to get lively with that run game, as they've been super effective effective stopping this Benedict run.
There's Tyrell Gainey. He's been the star today defensively for Albany State. A forced fumble, an interception. Also took the blocked point after attempts back for 2, which is the difference right now, making it 19-13. Benedict offense goes back to work. Scored in the last series. What a hurdle there. Tristan Morgan just doing everything and anything he can to pick up yards. Got 5 that time.
And you see how dynamic Benedict has to be with the run game to get positive yards.
You got to fly through the air.
Yes, you've got to jump over guys. And it starts once again with Darius Ocean able to corral the high snap.
Run, jump, and float to get yardage against this Albany State run defense. That shows pressure this time. They run to the right side. It's Morgan again. I've also seen David Smith today. They like to preach patience in the run game. They call it slowed through, then explode through is the motto.
And you see it looks like Morgan has a huge lane to run through, but as soon as he gets there, it closes up. Andrew Ruffin is there to make the tackle. That's the issue with running against this Albany State defense. You think you see something, and when you get there, it's not what you thought you saw.
Brought everyone downhill that time. Third and 4, 2 minutes to go in the quarter. Quick throw. Unable to make the grab was Noah Johnson. He's been efficient in the receiving game today, but that throw a little low.
And you see the confusion that they show. They show 5 at the line of scrimmage. They drop back into coverage, but they also bring the stunt. So you've got the defensive end looping around and the defensive tackle crashing down. That is what makes this this defense so effective. That is what makes them such a hard defense to block, because you don't know where the pressure's coming from. You're always guessing and thinking. And for Ocean, that's what you want to do. You want to make him uncomfortable back there, thinking he has to get rid of the football immediately because he's expecting the blitz.
Colton Ford back to return. Jamil Williams comes up, makes the fair catch, 36-yard punt. And now the offense for Albany State, with the goal of trying to make this a 2-possession game, goes back to work. I mentioned Isaiah Knowles played in the 2023 championship game. You see him in the midst of that huddle. He actually did not begin that season as a starter. There was a 6th-year QB in front of him. They started off 0-2. Knowles became the starter. Then he went down with an injury, returned the day of that title game. 6th-year starter gets injured, backup gets injured. Knowles, who hadn't had much reps in practice that week, comes in, very minimal practice, plays in that game somewhat unexpectedly. And today it was all expected, though. He's been the leader all season long. They'll hand it off, and working the left side is Weish. Gets up to the 40-yard line. Isaiah Isidore, Tampa native, with the tackle. There is a flag down.
During the run, hold it. Offense, number 80. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Still first down.
That's going to set Albany State back. This chess match continues. Benedict had struggled offensively before piecing together that scoring drive, took advantage of the field position, setting up at the 45 of Albany State. Now can their defense come up big again as we wind down this third quarter? Albany State, the only unbeaten team in SIAC play.
Timeout. Albany State. That's their first timeout of the half. This is a 30-second timeout.
We'll use the timeout. Backed up a bit here. Forrest, your assessment on how this third quarter has tightened up a bit?
Well, I think right now what you see is Benedict has found a way to pressure Albany State offensively. They're not as comfortable as they were in the first half. They haven't been able to get their offense on track. Benedict has found some pass rush lanes. They've gotten on top of Knowles. They've not allowed him to get comfortable and get the ball vertically down the field. And we saw they started to get something going with Morgan in that rush game at the early part of the third quarter. So they're seeing some success. And I think for them, the big thing is finally getting a touchdown offensively against this defense.
See Benedict head coach Ron Dickerson there. He told us earlier this week they want to be remembered in November. Told his group, you can't forget about your role. Play it as if it's your last game.
And I think for Albany State, you just want to get 6 or 7 yards on first down right here. You want to put yourself in a second and manageable.
Benedict defense shuts the door. They give it to Weish again. Desmond Thompson on that interior. You pointed out those 2 tackles, he and Casey Bolden.
And what I don't like about that first down is I thought that was an opportunity for Albany State to pass the football. Now you've got Benedict coming back with that pass rush that they brought the last drive that was very successful for them. I thought on first down they were kind of staying back because you don't know what to expect. Now you're in second and long. They know they're very likely going to pass, and you're going to see that pass rush, that blitz package that I thought was very successful early in the third quarter.
2nd and 19. They do bring the heat. Picked up pretty well. Knowles directing traffic. Now has to elude the pocket. Knowles going to scramble and just dish this away up the sideline.
And that's one of the difficulties. When you become predictable on offense, it allows the defense to bring the pressure packages. I thought they allowed themselves to be predictable with that first down run play. A good job right here, back end coverage, and I thought what Knowles did, which was smart, get to the outside. You don't see an ability to get north and south, get as far out, try and continue to extend the play when there's nowhere to go with the football, get rid of it out of bounds.
Momentum-wise, can you try to wind down this third quarter and then set your offense up in good field position if Benedict gets the stop here? Benedict crowd trying to make their voices felt, those that have traveled to the near side. Ball is caught by Javion Jackson, and that should be the final play of the third quarter and wind down the Albany State drive. And here we go, a fourth quarter for Old Harvey's SIAC Championship trophy on the line. Benedict and Albany State, second time in the last 3 years they've met on the conference championship stage. A one-score game heading to the fourth, then why not? Back at the beautiful blue field of Albany State Coliseum, site of the SIAC Championship game this year. NCAA schools with colored turf fields. Forrest, you've checked a few of these off their list. You've been to Eastern Washington, Eastern Michigan. You've done Central Arkansas. I've done Coastal. You've done Boise State.
No, I haven't done Boise State.
You haven't done Boise State?
I haven't done Boise.
Add that to our lists. We get a blue field here in Albany, Georgia today, and it's a big stage. Punt coming up here on 4th and 11 after the Benedict defense buckled down in the second quarter. Back to punt is Ian Kelly. Deshaun Mingo left that roll over his head, takes an Albany roll, and they hold it out. Wow. Special teams will definitely play a factor down the stretch. It has today. So Albany State gets an assist there from their punter, Ian Kelly, who comes up big with what will go down as a 62-yard punt after that roll. Albany native Ian Kelly. Now the offense comes out for Benedict, but pinned back. Worst starting field position of the day. Last time they scored, they had their best starting field position of the day. And they started at the 45 on that drive. It was a career-long punt for Kelly that pins him back. Just trying to get some breathing room here, and Forrest, they might not have gotten out of their own end zone. We'll see where they mark this right now.
They're giving him forward progress, but I don't know about that.
It didn't look like it live.
I don't know about that.
It was very close.
Let's see right here. Yes, okay. He did get. He may have gotten right across the line of scrimmage. They're looking where the ball is when he got grabbed by the defender. But a very dangerous play. You've got a hit that's going downhill if you're Benedict. And then because they are so uncomfortable with Ocean passing the football.
It feels like dangerous territory, especially in a one-score game. Play clock was winding down.
Delay game. Offense. Half the distance to the goal. Still now.
I mean, you can't put the ball any closer to the goal line.
Yeah. If you're a Benedict fan right now, you are on the edge of your seat as your team is on the edge of their goal line.
And if I'm a defender on the outside, I'm getting contact. I'm playing press man. I'm not giving up a free release, and I'm jumping every short route.
Albany State defense trying to pounce. Nearly forced a safety. Now here's the breathing room that Benedict was looking for. It's Trey Simmons able to escape on the blue turf. And that should be enough for a first down.
And a bad decision by the Albany State defender. You've got to jump that. You've got to know that he's going into a back pedal. I don't like that play right there on the outside by Evan Wynn. You've got to jump that route.
Adjustments are such a key part of the postseason. We have seen Benedict make the adjustments in the passing game. Another quick throw underneath, that one incomplete, but Forrest, it is kind of what you're seeing now, replicating the mindset you wanted them to get into, which were those short throws underneath.
Absolutely. You get the ball to your playmakers in space, allow them to do what they do in a one-on-one situation. You can't be afraid to throw the football. You've gotten all the way to the championship game. You're facing the one team that beat you this season. You get an opportunity to go to their house and do what they did to you at your house, but for a bigger prize, you've got to open up this offense.
Benedict felt they didn't play, in their words, Benedict football in the last meeting between these teams. That was a 31-3 loss to Albany State on October 25th. Different story today. Much closer game on, as Forrest mentioned, a much bigger stage. Biggest stage of the season. Driving them back that time, Isaiah Morrison, who had a great day on the edge of that defensive line for Albany State.
And now you got Benedict behind the sticks. You've got him in 3rd and 8. This is when you jump those short routes. This is when you don't give up a free release on the outside. This is when you show them a blitz package, but you drop back into those pass lanes if you're Albany State. You've been able to get pressure with 4. Drop 7 back into coverage. Stay in all those pass lanes. Stay gap sound with your pass rush.
Albany State's defense has been phenomenal on 3rd down all season. Big one here, especially field position-wise if they get the stop. Ocean going to roll. Ocean looking downfield, has a target in stride. It's Troy Hillman. What a play on 3rd and 9. But there is a flag down.
And a thing that has plagued them all afternoon.
Prior to the pass, holding, offense, number 77, half the distance to the goal. Still 3rd down.
Negation would have been a 43-yard gain. Wow.
And when you've got 5, you should be able to block 4, and that's the second team all-conference offensive guard, Isaiah Turner, number 77. You see right here, you've got to move your feet. You've got to be a dancing bear on the outside. You see him not moving his feet, grabbing the defender's jersey. You've got to be able to sit down in your stance and get those feet moving. And when he gets away from you and tries to disengage, you just drive him where he's trying to go. You know your quarterback is an athlete, and he'll be able to make a play with his feet, but you've got to drive him. You can't hold. You've got to sit down, and you've got to dance like a bear.
Now makes it 3rd and 17 and backed up once again inside of their own 10.
And the same thing, rush 4, drop 7 in the coverage. Don't give up a free release. Keep everything in front of you if you're Albany State.
Timeout. Benedict. That's their first timeout.
Benedict had to use a timeout. Play clock was winding down. 43-yard gain nullified by the holding call. We'll see what they can come up with when we come back.
Please set the game clock to 11 minutes and 50 seconds. 11 minutes, 50 seconds.
11:50 to go in the fourth quarter of the SIAC Championship game. And prior to that break, a 43-yard play, what would have been negated by a holding call, backs Benedict up. What could be a game-altering play, had it been converted, would have been momentum in plus territory. Instead, down 6, 3rd and 17, fourth quarter. Ocean looking, pocket collapsing. Ocean trying to stay out of his own end zone. Pulls a magic trick out of his hat, then gets brought down at the 5. Avery Weeks finished it off, and now the punting unit will come out.
And one of the issues that you have to have from the Benedict sideline is you've got 4 rushing against 5. I see they're running stunts, but you still should be able to block 4 with 5. That's a lack of movement by the offensive linemen. They've got to sit down in their stances. They've got to be able to dance. They've got to be able to move, and they've got to be aggressive at the point of attack. You've got 7 back in the coverage, so you've got to give your quarterback, Ocean, time to find an open receiver. You've got to give the receivers time to find an opening in the coverage to be able to make themselves a target for the quarterback.
So now the punter, Colton Ford, backed up, dangerous territory, got the punt away. It's going to be superb field position. Jameel Williams makes the fair catch. And now the offense, led by Isaiah Knowles, is going to come out.
And you saw the Albany State sideline go a little bit crazy because they didn't call a penalty. Well, hey, you got away with one in the first half where your guy ran into a guy calling for a fair catch.
Makeup.
So it's a makeup call.
Albany State 9-1 on the season, 8-0 in SIAC play. Only team to go 8-0 in the conference. Hosting the championship game for the first time since 2019. And a chance, a prime opportunity, early stages, fourth quarter, to come out here and try to make it a 2-possession game.
And if you're Albany State, you've got to be thinking we at least have to get a field goal on this drive.
It matches their best starting field position of the day. They're going to run. Found a gap on the left side. It is Weiss. Found a gap. Gets inside the 20. And down to the 5.
And that was an excellent seal block by number 80, Jamarion Davis. Watch number 80 come across right there. That seal block is exactly what Weiss needed to get to the outside, and you see the speed once he gets to the outside.
He'll hand it off again. McCrary this time. He gets brought down, brings up second down. Could still get a first down without getting in the end zone here.
And actually, that was McCrary on the first drive. That was McCrary. I'm sorry.
They're going with him on this drive.
But a good job following that block by Jamarion Davis to seal and give him the space that he needed to get off the field.
Benedict's defense backed up now, trying to force a field goal attempt. Knowles with other ideas. He spins off a tackle and drops down to about the 12.
And if you're the Albany State coaching staff, you're telling Knowles, hold on to the football. Don't try and force it. Remember, if we get a field goal, we go up 2 scores. Be careful with the football. If it's not there how it's drawn up, go down, throw it out of bounds, but be careful. You cannot give up an easy turnover. Do not be careless with the football.
Could get a first down without a touchdown at the 4-yard line.
And you've got to think that's what the coaching staff is going to remind Knowles of right now. Be careful with the football. We're in great field goal range if it's not there as it's drawn up. But you also want to come with your best offensive play right now, because if you get a touchdown, you put that much more pressure on that defense from Benedict.
Albany State, interestingly, uses their second timeout. We'll be right back. So take a look here, bottom left of your screen in the end zone. Mari Stewart, the wide receiver, what could have been called an unsportsmanlike penalty here, Forrest. Little shove to the face of the Benedict defender, Jamal Sam. And you see his head coach, Quinn Gray, letting him know about it, how costly that could have been had it been called.
And he's got one reception. He came into the game leading the team in yards. But you've got to have a clear frame of mind and understand you cannot do anything to jeopardize and hurt your team. You're playing for a championship right now. You've got to be smarter than that. But I like the coaching staff continuing to talk to him and tell him, we need you. We're going to need you, but you can't make bonehead plays like that. You put your team in a position to possibly put us in a position where we don't have an easy field goal attempt, if that's what it boils out to be.
And it gets taken out of the game there, 3rd and 8. Meanwhile, again, you can get that first down at the 4-yard line. This is a monumental play in this championship game. Knowles directing traffic, gets pressured, trying to keep it alive. He'll reverse field. Knowles trying to step up, got to about the 6-yard line. You think of postseason football in recent years, a QB's ability to improvise and make something out of nothing can be so big in these types of games, but it is going to be 4th down.
Postseason football, you think of heavy breathing by the Albany State coaching staff. Jacoby Wall, number 5, got on top of him, pressure, continuing to chase Knowles all around the backfield, but you've got to be nervous if you're on the Albany State sideline because of all the defenders coming from different angles and him with that ball out willy-nilly. You've got to get that ball and keep it high and tight. Quarterbacks aren't used to carrying the football, and you saw the ball out, and that's the danger. You want to maintain possession and give yourselves an opportunity to go up 2 scores.
This is big. Would make it a 9-point game. And he does just that. So now if you're Benedict, as you mentioned there, 2-score game, because even with the touchdown and the 2-point conversion, you'd still be 1 point short.
Huge 3 points right there. And it goes back to that blocked extra point that Albany State took down and got 2 points on. That is huge, because if they don't get those 2 points, the score is now 20-13, and Benedict is only a touchdown behind. But once again, when you look at the potential of Amari Stewart getting an unsportsmanlike penalty, the official didn't see it. That could have put them in a detriment, because if that ball is 15 yards back from where it was, that is not a good field goal. Look at where the ball goes over. If that's 15 yards back from where that was, but you see right here, this is the biggest play of the game so far. That blocked extra point, those 2 points right there. That is the difference in this ball game right here, right now.
Yeah, made it 19-13. Instead of what could have been a 17-14 game. So a huge special teams play, the difference maker. Deshaun Mingo lets that one sail. Now Benedict has to score twice.
And you have to wonder, regardless of field position, is this 4-down territory right now, the entire game, the rest of the game for Benedict, with the idea that they've got to get 2 scores.
And both of these teams, they get beyond the 50. You can typically expect them to go for it on 4th down. But that seems like the must-be mindset now for Benedict. A Benedict defense that found something in the 3rd quarter. They limited Albany State to 10 yards total in the 3rd quarter, after Albany State, for context, had 136 in the 2nd quarter. Well, fast forward to the 4th, 8:12 to go in it. An offense that's kind of built for longer drives. Can they find a relatively quick one here? They go to the air trying to do that. Wanting Hillman, great adjustment to the football. Troy Hillman with a big catch. He had the catch on that play that was nullified. It would have been a 43-yard gain on the last drive. This time picks up 26, and it will be kept in the charts.
And you saw Ocean, saw the blitz package coming. He did a good job of just throwing the ball up, basically, and allowing his receiver to go and make a play for him.
Pressure breached the O-line, but Ocean wants to use his legs. Has Blue in front of him. Steps inside of the 40. Going to pick up a first down to move the chains again and get out of bounds. Gain of 14 with his legs.
And that's a poor job of keeping gap integrity by the defensive line for Albany State. You saw the defensive end crash on the inside. You cannot look to make the big play. You've got to play gap sound. You've got to keep and maintain that edge.
Benedict in search of revenge from their 31-3 loss to Albany State a little under a month ago. Albany State in search of revenge from the 2023 title game that they lost to Benedict. Under 7 minutes to go now for Benedict's offense. Flip it out quick. Simmons on the catch. Broke the initial tackle as a tunnel on the sideline and gets swung out of bounds. Isaiah Morrison caught up to him. Not before a gain that's once again enough for a first down. It's a gain of 12.
You see Morrison getting up, chopping, talking, but you've given up a first down. You can't worry about slinging somebody out of bounds. You've got to make the play on the outside. For Albany State, you're right there. You've got to make the tackle. You've got to break down and make that tackle right there. You cannot allow for extra yards after the catch. Right now, Benedict is doing a good job of driving the ball down the field. They're allowing Ocean to throw the football. And once again, for Albany State, you've got to step up and make a play defensively.
High snap, pressure comes. Ocean goes down. Amir Walton, redshirt freshman from Atlanta, squeaked through.
And a good job by the defensive ends getting pressure on the edge of that defense, squeezing Ocean, not giving him room to go side to side. What the offensive tackles have got to work on is getting back, getting those kick steps back. You've got to keep the width of the pocket to give your quarterback room to maneuver back there and be able to look down the field.
Benedict has been poised in these moments with their backs against the wall. 3-1 score victories this year, including one last week. But this crowd letting them hear it, and time winding down. That's some late extracurriculars, and we think there's a timeout called before the snap.
Prior to the snap, timeout. Benedict. That's their second timeout of the half. This is a 30-second timeout.
And this is a huge timeout for Benedict. They've got second and long, and I think what you want to talk to your quarterback, Ocean, about is, hey, we don't have to get it all back on this play. If we can get 7 to 8 yards, we're going to put ourselves in third and manageable, knowing that this is basically fourth down territory. And also you want to look at possibly getting in field goal range, if not anything else. You don't have to get a touchdown in this drive, but you've got to get points, especially how far you've gotten the ball down the field. Remember, you're down 2 scores, you're down 9 points. 10 can win, but you've got to get 3 at least on this drive. So you're thinking now, if we don't get the first down, let's continue to get us closer to field goal range.
5:31 to go in the fourth. You mentioned the field goal range there. They're kind of comfortable around the 40-yard range with Zane Spires. Logan Karwacki also has come on to attempt field goals this year. Is long from 27. 2nd and 16. Ocean down the sideline to the end zone. Incomplete, wanting Malik Mullins, but there was a lot of contacts.
And the problem with that is the defender never turned around to locate the football.
Pass interference. Defense, number 26. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
And Jonathan Carr switched from 0 to 26 today. Gets called for the pass interference, and it's a huge penalty here.
And if he turns around and locate the football, they won't make the call, but he never turns around. And I don't know on that play. I don't think there was enough there to call interference. But I still think if he turns around and locate the football, they don't make that call.
Ocean stepping up. Gonna dodge traffic again. Gets inside of the 10.
And Ocean is being dangerous with that football, spinning around with the ball away from his body. He's got to be careful. Keep the ball close to his body. Now, if you're Benedict, you need to have a sense of urgency right here.
Second and 4 now. These championship moments. Biggest plays of the day. Flip it out quick. Broken up promptly, looking for his running back, Tristan Morgan. Derek Drayton, who was a question mark to play today, comes up huge there.
And Drayton may have gotten away with one right there. Looked like he got there a tad bit early.
He was there very fast.
Very fast. But it was kind of a boom, boom play.
Brings you up 3rd and 4 now.
See, watch on this play. It looks like Drayton gets there right before the ball gets there. A good job, though, by Drayton being able to diagnose and know where Ocean wanted to go with the football to the back out in the flat.
Three for 10 on 3rd down today. This is the biggest. They got the snap off just in time. It was high, though, and it definitely delayed what they wanted to do there.
And there have been several high snaps throughout this afternoon. Ocean has done a good job of corralling the football, but there have been several high snaps, and that has been made their offense very ineffective at times. You see, because he's got to get possession of the football again, which allows the defense to get up the field. That split second allows the defense to get an extra step and get up the field and get on top of those running backs.
So Forrest smart to try to kick the field goal here. Going to try to make it a 6-point game.
Absolutely. Because if they make it a 6-point game, then you put pressure on the offense for Albany State to have to produce.
Karwacki has to hit it first, though, from 28. Clean, split the uprights. A 1-score game. A 6-point game with 3:58 to go. Well, here's our Week 11 Monday Night Football matchup. Cowboys will take on the Raiders at 8 Eastern on ABC, ESPN, and ESPN Deportes, and the all-new ESPN app. Peyton and Eli over on ESPN2. Coverage kicks off with US/NFL Live at 3 Eastern in Vegas. Then SVP and the Monday Night Countdown crew get things started at 6 Eastern. See notable Division II players on NFL rosters. Grover Stewart, the Colts, Albany State alum. Good names on that list. Under 4 to go. A lot of tradition, a lot of history between these schools. Both 9-1. Albany State unblemished in conference play. And meeting in the SIAC Championship for the 2nd time in 3 years. Albany State looking for revenge from that 2023 title game, but this one inches closer. Now 6 points, the differential between these two teams. With 3:58 to go, 22-16. Benedict trusting their defense. Running up underneath this is Jameel Williams, trying to break through a tunnel of traffic. It's a good return. Get him out to the 40.
Now, if you're Albany State, you need to run the football. You want to make Benedict use that last timeout that they have. Benedict also knows they've got the 2-minute timeout to stop the clock. But if you're Albany State, you want to try and run this clock down, make Benedict use that timeout, get to that 2-minute timeout, and then if you can convert a first down at that point, you can take a knee and win this football game. But it's about converting and using the time properly.
Yeah, both teams had to use their timeouts in this quarter, maybe earlier than you would have liked to. And that playing a role there. As Forrest breaks down what both teams will be looking to do down the stretch here with 3:51 to go in this 4th quarter. Benedict's plain and simple. Get a stop. Get the offense back on the field. Trying to stop this run game. Easier said than done. Behind the offensive line of Albany State. They give it to McCary. Round 1 goes to Benedict defensively, stepping up. Jacoby Wall makes the play.
Now, if you're Albany State, take your time. You should not snap the ball until it's at 3:01.
When Gray's team winding it down.
The key for Albany State at this point is you want to get 5 to 6 yards if you're not able to get a first down, but you want to continue to run the ball. If you run towards the sidelines, do not go out of bounds. You're telling your back, stay in bounds, keep the ball high and tight.
Like you said, they wind it all the way down to 3:03. Nolan's going to try to throw it. Pressure came quickly. Has to step up. Trying to be safe with the football. Reverses, though. Right have space in front of him here. Then got clocked at the end. Well short of the line to gain, about 6 yards shy. Picked up only one. It was a long route to get it. Amari Terry with a big hit. Good to see Knowles pop up after that.
Smart play by Knowles, not going to the outside where he had space. Going down, realizing I don't want to go out of bounds. I don't want to put myself close to going out of bounds.
Hold it. Offense, number 64. 10-yard penalty, still second down.
Now, I don't like the idea of accepting the penalty because now you give them another down to run more clock off of the more time off of the clock. I don't think that was a smart play right there by Benedict to accept that penalty. Because now, as opposed to it being third down, 3rd and 7, it is second down. So you're going to run clock. It doesn't matter about the down and distance. The distance at this point. It's about the downs and the time.
Going to wind this down to about 2:20 before taking the play.
Actually, you can get it down to almost 2 minutes.
Yeah, this play right here specifically. Get it down to 2:21. Now they'll go down. And like you said, this is going to go down now to that 2-minute.
And when it goes down to the 2-minute, now it's only third down. So you're still going to be able to run time off the clock or make them use that last timeout. So if they do get the ball back, they get the ball back with no timeouts.
So they hit the 2-minute timeout. And we will step aside. Be right back for what should be a riveting finish to this SIAC championship game. A one-score game, one timeout for both teams. 3rd and 22 coming up. It's an interesting decision, as Forrest mentioned, to accept the penalty, which did allow Albany State to bleed more time off this clock. Still have your timeout. We just had the 2-minute timeout. If you're Benedict, so essentially traded safer scenario for your defense, pushing them all the way back to 3rd and 21. Percentage chances of getting the stop for the time that the offense could have possibly had if they do get the football back here. They're showing pressure against Knowles right up the middle, and Knowles goes down. So, Forrest, do you call a timeout right here?
Yes, you do. You want to preserve all the time that you can for your offense.
Racing over to the official to try to get it. A loss of 9.
And I don't like the play. I think you hand the ball off to your running back.
That's the final timeout of the half. This is a 30-second timeout. Please set the game clock to 1 minute and 51 seconds. 1 minute and 51 seconds.
McCrary did a good job of running the ball, early in the 4th quarter, late in the 3rd quarter. I thought you give the ball to your running back, get positive yards. I don't like the fact that you're dropping your quarterback back. He's not going to throw the football into the danger zone. I think you give yourselves a better chance of getting a little bit better field position and possibly breaking one open. I don't like that because now you put yourselves in a position to possibly get a holding penalty, which offensive linemen, because they're pass blocking as opposed to run blocking.
Deshaun Mingo back to return. Remember, Benedict did block a punt earlier in this game. It was Isaiah Brown, 30. You wonder if they come after it again here. Ian Kelly got that away. Mingo fair catches it. We'll see where they mark him. 32-yard line of Benedict.
And he had an opportunity to run the football on that play.
Instead, Darius Ocean comes out with the scenario that you dream of in your backyard as a quarterback. Championship game, down 6, opportunity to lead a potential game-winning drive. Wonder what's going through his mind right now. They brought him in the offseason through the portal specifically for these moments. They felt like he could be a guy for them in November to come up big in championship moments. You see his numbers today. Of course, the most important moment, throw that out, is right now.
And if you're Albany State, you keep everything in front of you. You don't mind giving up anything in the middle of the field. And for Benedict, you cannot give up a sack.
Ocean has to flush quickly. Used his legs on their last series, but gets bottled up here. Got that away.
And I wonder if this is going to be intentional grounding. There's nobody over there.
Right. That's the question. No flag.
There's no foul. For intentional grounding, the quarterback was outside the pocket, and the ball reached the line of scrimmage.
Okay. And that's the key. He got outside of the pocket, and he got the ball past the line of scrimmage. A smart play by Ocean. Dangerous, but smart.
Clock at 1:34 now to go. Living on the edge. Felt like he had to do it. Did. No grounding call.
And for Albany State, they need to keep gap integrity. Stay on the outside.
Quick throw to Simmons, but he gets bottled up. This should be a loss of a few yards.
And he stayed in bounds, so the clock will continue to run. They don't have timeout, so they've got to line up quickly, get on the line of scrimmage. You've got to have the play call. You've got to know what your blocking assignments are. You've got to get set if you're a receiver.
Loss of 3 and clock winding down to 1:12.
And they don't have a sense of urgency, the sense of urgency that you need. They look like they're trying to get the play right now. You should know what the play is and be lined up, ready to go.
No timeouts. You're right. Having to look over the sideline to get it, which is bleeding more time. Crowd getting involved. Ocean one-on-one. Down the sideline and incomplete. And intentions for Malachi Jones.
And that was a good job on the outside by Tyrell Gainey. Not panicking. He had a step on him, Malachi Jones did, but Gainey did not panic. He just ran knowing that the ball was overthrown.
A 4th down and 12, conference championship on the line.
If you're Albany State, rush forward. You've been able to get pressure with 4, run your stunt. Loop your defensive tackles around, bring those defensive ends crashing down. Tell your guys, you make a play, you win the championship. Keep everything in front of you if you're the defensive back. Do not allow those receivers to climb on top of you.
Maybe one final crack at this for Darius Ocean, the senior, on 4th and 12. Trying to come up big, has a target, has a completion, and Hillman on 4th and 12, they get 18. Clock will stop as they reset the chains.
And the defensive backs continue to drop. You've got to come up. You cannot give up so much space that you give up the first down.
Quick spike to stop the clock.
You keep everything in front of you, but you also make sure you cover up those receivers. They drop too far, allowing those receivers to get up the field, get past the sticks and turn around and sit down. You've got to get up the field. Watch how the defensive backs drop all the way back on the outside. You've got safeties dropping back. As a defensive back covering those receivers on the outside, you can't drop so far that you're not able to cover. You see right there, you've got safety help for those outside receivers. So if you're an inside defensive back covering those slot receivers, you've got to get up and press those guys.
The Tigers have 9 lives today, off the mat and with a fresh set of downs. Now on 2nd and 10, down the sideline, incomplete. Malik Mullins was in the vicinity.
And he got behind the defender on that play. These outside defenders for Albany State have to be careful. Watch the outside defender right here. He's looking at the short route. He was behind him. If the quarterback, Ocean, just throws the ball down the field, he has a touchdown. Gainey got caught looking in the backfield, looking to jump the short route. The safeties have to get depth.
3rd and 10 now. 37 seconds. Ocean, sideline again. Oh, he squeezed it through. Somehow found that window. It's Tristan Morgan, the running back, and they're going to run up after a gain of 26 with 30 seconds to go. We'll stop the clock again. More life again for Benedict.
And once again, you're giving Ocean too much time. He's able to thread the needle with that pass right there. They see something on that side of the defense. You've got Andrew Ruffin covering on the outside. That's the matchup that you're looking for. You've got a linebacker trying to cover a receiver on the outside. They're finding the favorable matchups.
Coaching staff simply described Darius Ocean as a winner. He's making winning plays right now. Trying to scramble. Bluffs it up. Incomplete. Once again, they'll live to fight another down. They have been coming up clutch in these moments with their season on the line, conference championship hopes on the line.
And I think almost if you're Albany State at this point, you rush 3 and you drop 8 in the coverage. You cannot allow them to get the ball down the field. They're finding openings. They've been able to get pressure with 3 men. They've been able to get pressure with 4. I think you rush 3, you drop 8 back in the coverage, show them 4, show them 5 pre-snap, but then you drop back in the coverage.
3rd and 10, 22 seconds to go. Play clock at 5, down 6. Underthrown. Only receiver in the vicinity was Malachi Jones. And for the second time on this drive, 4th down is on the horizon. They converted the 4th and 12 last time to keep this going. Is there a little bit of magic left in the bag of Darius Ocean?
You see offensive linemen with their hands on their hips. You see defensive linemen with their hands on their hips. Linebackers with their hands on their hips. Everybody's tired. But you've got to suck it up right now. For the offense, you've got to make a play. For the defense, if you can make one play. This is what you practice for in the preseason. This is what you prepare for all week long. These are the opportunities that you dream about right here.
Albany State uses their final.
Of the half. This is a 30-second timeout.
Forced to take a deep breath for a sec. Down the stretch here, a 4th and 12 conversion. Then the big throw to Tristan Morgan. Get him down to this part of the field. What are you doing here if you're Benedict?
If you're Benedict, you're finding your best play. You got to remember, you can get a first down. But if you do get a first down, you've got to get to the line of scrimmage. You've got to down it because at that point, you may have time left for one more play to get it into the end zone. If you're Albany State, you just got to make a play defensively. That's all you've got to say to your defense is, hey, guys, I need one play. I need you guys to make one play for me. Get up the field. Get pressure on the quarterback. If you get pressure on him, he'll throw it away. But you've got to get up the field. You've got to get pressure on him.
Best defense all season in the conference in Albany State. As Forrest mentioned, can they get that one stop? They've been making them all season, but this would be the biggest of the season. On 4th and 10 of the SIAC Conference Championship game. It's Ocean. Back to throw. Can they convert again? Lofting it up. Oh, it's bobbled and incomplete. Wanted Morgan. Albany State fans rejoice with 12 seconds left.
And he had him. He had an opportunity. He had a receiver beyond the defense with an opportunity to make a play. And you see Coach Dickerson over there complaining. And I think he has a valid argument on that play. Andrew Ruffin may have gotten away with one on that play.
Tyrell Gainey came flying in to knock that away. There he is. Has had an interception, a forced fumble.
After this to the goal, first down, Albany State.
As you hear the call made, and had the point after attempt to return for 2 points, which was a big separator in this football game. Had that not happened,
it would be 17-20, exactly. And they would be kicking a field goal, and we'd be looking at overtime.
We keep running through those hypothetical snares, but it is so big.
Huge.
And then fittingly comes in and knocked that away. And victory formation. Isaiah Knowles, who was a part of the 2023 loss to Benedict in the title game, is going to kneel out the 2025 SIAC Championship. And the trophy will be here and go to Albany State.
That's the end of the game.
What a game. What a game. This is how championship games are supposed to be won. How they're supposed to be played. What a game. And I like the sportsmanship that we're seeing right now. You know, these teams don't really like each other, but you see really good sportsmanship at the end of this hard-fought championship football game in SIAC.
What a season for Albany State. They survived a battle of a championship game on their home field. First time hosting since 2019. They win the conference title, cruising through SIAC play, only unbeaten team in the conference. Make it 9-0, 15th outright SIAC title in school history, and the 2025 champs. They'll hoist the trophy this afternoon and celebrate into the night here in Albany, Georgia. A phenomenal game between two teams that know each other well, know this stage well, and fittingly played a very close game down to the final whistle.
Now my question, Jason, do you think both of these teams make the playoffs?
That'll be the question mark hanging up in the air moving forward.
Albany State definitely.
Yep.
And I feel like Benedict deserves an opportunity to be in the playoffs as well. Their only two losses have come to the conference champion. And in this game, I think they've shown that they can compete with the conference champion. The last game was, kind of got away from them, but this game, they were very competitive in this football game. And I think in the second half, they found something, and they slowed down this Albany State offense and made this a football game.
And see how much these moments mean. Isaiah Knowles and Quinn Gray. And this fan base that packed Albany State Coliseum today, getting to celebrate the moment they dreamed of.
And once again, I do want to recognize, the sportsmanship by the players. There was some aggression during the game. But, when you lose a championship game, it's easy to get frustrated, upset, and want to make a bad decision. And I like the fact that these guys were able to shake hands and acknowledge each other. A hard-fought championship football game, something you love to see. Now, the coaching staff, on the other hand, from Benedict, was a little bit animated. But at the same time, I love what the players were able to do.
The emotions of the postseason are the best. That was fun. The 10 wins, the most since 2021 for Albany State, and this one will be the most memorable to this point. The 10th gives them the 2025 SIAC Championship, redeeming themselves from the 2023 loss and cruising through conference play, and an unblemished 9-0. The Golden Rams celebrate on the blue field tonight. For Forrest Connolly, I'm Jason Ross Jr. Everyone in our truck, you were phenomenal. Thanks so much for all your hard work. This afternoon, 22-16, the final. Albany State crowned SIAC champs.
Test 1 2 1 2.
like to present the 2025 SIAC Football Championship Award to Albany State University. I told you to get this, I can help you get one, man.